share the like it. Welcome to this week's episode of Politically Correct Podcast with me, the Jose Pio, along with my co-host Lavelle Lewis.
Gia.
Austin on the ones and twos.
Hello.
And we are your weekly dose of common sense. This week, our illustrious guest is Ashley Crawford, aka my dad's favorite bartender. Actually, I don't know if you remember that yet. Here to lend yet another voice of reason to our show. Thank you so much for coming in. I know that you've been following us for quite some time, and you are very much loving what we're doing here. I already know that, and hopefully you'll be able to add your own insight into things. So thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Let's toast. Absolutely. Let's toast to our ability to share a drink with friends, have open and honest dialogue, and always striving to walk away, still being friends. Go ahead and crack that. There you go. Thank you. Salud. Salud.
I gotta get Austin enough. Like, are you taking like a break or something, Austin? What's going on?
No, I'm never prepared.
He's on a fast.
Jeez.
He's on a fast.
Said something. I was right by Wegmans.
No, it's all good.
Next show.
Yeah. All
which is it?
Not the 100th.
Okay.
100th episode is the week of my birthday, actually.
Oh, cool. Oh, that's right. It's coming up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll be ready for that one.
You'll be more than ready for that one.
Oh.
We're throwing
We
a party.
should definitely leave that show intoxicated.
We should start it. No, we shouldn't.
Excuse me. Pre-game. Yes. We need a pre-game for that.
Let's start with the podcast. Start the podcast off with our video of the week, please. Featuring a story about Artemis Langford, a 6'2", 260-pound trans student, mind you.
Wait, what was the height again?
6'2".
6'2". That's
260 pounds.
Whoa. That's a big motherfucker.
Hit that.
I have an insane story today. These sorority girls are not going to be forced to live with a biological male because a judge rejected their lawsuit where they called into question their own privacy and safety. This is Artemis Langford, and the sorority sisters say that he was watching them, making them feel uncomfortable, and doing so while fully erect in the sorority house. But the judge rejected the lawsuit, and get this, it's because the sorority bylaws don't explicitly define what a woman is. The judge stated with its inquiry beginning and ending there, the court will not define a woman today. Seriously, it's insane that the sorority bylaws have to have this written out, even though we all know what a woman is, and we have known up until recent years where we've upended everything and allowed biological men to define themselves as women. These women deserve their privacy and they deserve their safety, and I hope they continue to fight this battle for women's spaces because this is unacceptable.
So, the sorority and all their, obviously beautiful glory with their donors and the women from the history behind them, they said, well, we got to let this person in. We have to be inclusive. Well, I mean, how inclusive we're going to get when we have a 6'2", 260-pound biological male with everything still intact, joining a sorority, becoming one of their sisters, and watching them getting allegedly watching them, going from 6 to midnight with their still intact penis. What do you think about that right now, where we are as a country where a sorority can't stop a grown-ass man from joining it?
Well, I'm going to defer to our guest first, since she is of the...
Put her into the fire.
Right, since she
Throw her into the
are
fire.
a female, so...
I mean, I'm like very big on personal space. I'm big on like respect to women, like in general. Like I have very old morals, I guess. I personally, if I was in the sorority, would probably
have an issue with that?
Yeah, I would definitely not be cool because like I don't usually want to see someone's like boner in my face in general, you know what I mean? And I definitely don't want to I don't want to be looking over my shoulder constantly. Sororities about protection and sisterhood and like developing that like bond with other women who have your back. If the majority are uncomfortable.
It wasn't a majority. It was only 6 of them who sued. Only 6 of them sued.
Well, maybe 6 of them sued, but like
how many weren't comfortable enough to come out?
Correct.
Yeah, that's the world we live in, where you're not allowed to come out and say anything, or else you're going to be attacked, especially at a campus, college campus these days. If you're to come out and say, oh, we're going to sue because we don't want a grown-ass 6'2", 260-pound trans woman.
And I don't even think it has anything to do with whether, trans or not. I think it's just parts don't make sense for the whole scenario for me.
Mhm.
And if they're still adjusting to,
Life as a woman.
like,
They still got their meat intact.
I
Right.
just,
There's
you
no
know,
adjustment there.
but
If you still got
but
it,
you're a
you're
man,
not
and I know
adjusting.
that there are ways that you can like avoid it being just like blatantly.
No, I can't.
out.
I've seen in many movies that in a sorority house, they usually, get into their underwear and then have pillow fights. I mean, how do you think that pillow fight's going right now?
Is that what happens in sororities?
It's gotta
6
be.
of them are not in it.
6 of them probably are not partaking in that pillow
Right.
fight.
The hazing process has to be quite the process for a tranny dude who's 6'2", 200 plus pounds, and his meat is like literally poking out of his sweatpants.
Allegedly.
God, just gray sweatpants every day.
Every day he's coming in there. What is the name of the sorority?
Oh man, I didn't see it. What's the show on there?
Kappa Gamma.
Kappa Gamma?
What was
Kappa
that?
Gamma.
Isn't that like old school?
Are you making that up?
It
No,
sounds like old
Kappa
school.
Gamma.
Kappa Gamma.
Kappa Gamma.
Poor things.
We'll go with it. Either way, as a sorority, you have to put a line somewhere. As a female, if you're a feminist, which at the beginning you're talking about how you're all, you want your space, you want respect for your space. You don't want a man in your female area, especially when you're trying to do your female thing. I mean, in a sorority house, that should be your free space, your safe space, I feel. And to have a 6'2", 260-pound male named Artemis.
Well, he's not a male. He's a trans woman.
No, I'm not dealing with that. I'm not going with that. They're going to cancel us already.
Yeah.
Speaking of trying to cancel us, there was a label added to our last video from last week. Did you see this? Maybe I'm the only one that goes back and watches our own videos. This label was added. It says, and for context, for abortion health information context, National Library of Medicine, an abortion is a procedure to end a pregnancy. Oh,
no shit.
That's thank you very much,
Thank
YouTube,
you,
for telling
Captain
us.
Obvious.
It uses medicine or surgery to remove the embryo or fetus and placenta from the uterus. The procedure is done by a licensed. Let's go back to that sentence. It uses medicine or surgery to remove the embryo or fetus and placenta from the uterus. Have you seen a video of what a abortion is?
Yeah.
Does it just remove it nice and gently?
No, it's pretty violent. But you know what? This right here, it proves our point that, dude, you can't get pregnant, number one. Number two,
it was a biological dude,
yeah,
who is a trans female who wants to get a very working part from another woman to put into their masculine woman, right? Masculine trans woman,
transmasculine, yeah.
Transmasculine. Thank you very much. Insert it into their body, and then have sex with as many dudes, biological dudes, trans females, as they can, so that it can inseminate them. They can get pregnant just to have an abortion. That's what the entire video at the beginning of last week's podcast was all about. And they had to add that abortion health information to it.
Well, can I ask? You have abortion in the title of the video.
Yeah, and?
So is there any video with abortion in the title that doesn't have that disclaimer on it?
Usually do not go around looking at
that's
abortion videos.
That's my assumption.
But why do you need that? Why do we need that added to a video at all?
Okay, I don't know. I was just pointing out that.
Thank you for your liberal intake there.
That I don't know that this video was like selected. I feel like you put abortion in the title, and that's
fine.
Got it.
Let's get our videos going back again here. Well, while Austin is not on the mic, first of all, liberal bastards like Austin, just kidding, everybody. Everyone's getting crazy right now as soon as I said that. To me, why add any context to any video ever? Because you're only adding in your own personal input into that as a company. If I want to talk about a trans person getting inseminated in order to have an abortion.
But is that abortion health?
Mm.
Like for them to tag it that way, I just feel like, because what if someone really is like looking
right.
for information on?
Mm-hmm.
Are you saying, is it use medicine and surgery to remove the embryo or fetus and placenta from the uterus? Well, we didn't talk about that that they them having a uterus, because they them can't have a uterus.
Yeah. Well, I'm just thinking that are they listening to the video, or are they just tagging it because, just like Austin said, you just put abortion in it? Like, I think what the video is the most important part, not the description in the video.
Well, not only that, are they adding these little taglines to every other video that is on that side?
Oh yeah.
Like, meaning if it's a far left video, or if it's a trans person posting that video and saying, I want to be a trans person who gets their first abortion, is that being tagged in there?
Anything?
Because I've never seen these additions being added to anything that comes from the far left, meaning a biological male who decides to be a trans female and posts videos on, say, TikTok about their life as a woman. You don't see any taglines at the bottom or added information saying, just FYI, this person is clinically insane.
Allegedly.
No.
So, but like, this is specifically a YouTube context.
Meta. Yeah. It's another Meta. Is it Meta? No, YouTube's not Meta.
No, YouTube.
That's Google.
Yeah. So like, you wouldn't see it on TikTok because that's a different company.
We've gotten a couple of, I say we, it's my freaking page. I've gotten a couple of, hey, we took this video down because it does not conform to our standards.
TikTok?
On TikTok.
Oh yeah, TikTok is serious.
On the abortion issue specifically?
I forget what it was. No, it was 3 news stories about Ukraine war that you may not have seen because of the alleged UFOs that were flying around. And it was 3 logical stories that we went into on a pot. We went into one, and then 2 others that we didn't get into. And they were news stories, NBC News, ABC News, all that. And they still said, we're going to go ahead and take this down.
Yeah. Anything that I post on, like with like Malcolm X and he's going at liberals, that gets dinged as hate speech.
Yeah.
That's why I stopped.
I say we need to bring back hate speech. Not gonna lie. I'm okay. If you want to talk shit about Puerto Ricans, go ahead. Like, I really do not care.
Well,
I just want to watch the video. Like, I'm not going to go on a video that says, hey, watch me talk junk about Spix. I'm not going to click on that video.
But how many people are actually doing that within history? Like, how many people have been known for like actual hate speech outside of Hitler, David Duke,
and white liberals?
Right. Like, or Joe Biden, giving his speech on the crime bill, about the crime bill.
Right. Over many decades of video evidence.
Black kids are just as smart as.
Yeah. Or you ain't.
Yeah.
Black unless.
Poor kids are just as smart and just as capable
as white kids.
Yes.
He was at the ready with that one.
Yeah, that's my favorite quote.
Correct.
But he does love that one. Look at him.
Sorry. But well, why do you have the right to say whatever you want on these platforms? Like, they're not, the government isn't taking them down. These are privately owned.
No, because it's been found that the government has reached out to them to take down videos. Mm-hmm. Number 2, these are not private entities. Once you become public entity, meaning you're selling stock, you are a publicly owned company.
But the publicly owned company can't make its own terms and conditions?
No, why would you be able to do that and block people's point of views when you're getting money from, let's say, BlackRock, who has taken over many of our union 401ks and investments, which are paid for by public funds?
Okay. So,
let's go down this rabbit hole, baby. Let's do this.
Let's go.
Let's
Austin
do this.
versus Jose today.
I'm not Jen Ardone. I'm gonna go after you. Is she on here?
Oh yeah, go for it.
What do you got in there?
So just because it's publicly traded doesn't mean it's a public company.
It's a publicly owned company. Yes, that's exactly the terminology it is.
No, it's
publicly owned company.
The public can invest in the company,
right?
But
the public is investing in the company.
Sure, if they choose to.
They have chosen to.
Sure.
Yeah.
But they're investing in the company that, as it is run and operated. It's not a government agency.
But it became one during COVID.
No.
If the FBI can reach out to the board of directors or to the owners of a company and say, we need you to take this down, you are now the 4th arm of the government. It's been found by the Supreme Court. I mean, this is
the government
law
can
now.
compel them to take.
They cannot. You cannot do that anymore. That's why YouTube now allows us to say whatever we want about COVID.
Right. but
science.
but then they choose to add these disclaimers or whatever.
Right. What I'm saying is it needs to go further. They need to stop with the disclaimers, because when someone reads something, they automatically will say that, and they'll say Jose Pio has no idea what the hell he's talking about, and his podcast is a piece of shit because they're spreading disinformation, because they're talking about abortion and a trans person, and they go down this whole line of,
when did they do that?
Dude, I see it every single day. Every single day I get the messages. Every single day I get the, you all right over there? I got the comment section. I'm a grifter. I'm a freaking bigot. I'm an asshole. This and the other.
Those are comments.
Yeah, and then they go into Reddit, and then they post about Jose Pio on Reddit, which I don't look at.
Right. These are private citizens.
So
who
why
can say whatever they want about you?
Right. So Reddit is not publicly owned.
Right.
They can block whatever they want.
Okay.
YouTube is publicly owned.
YouTube is publicly traded.
Publicly owned and traded.
So it's not. It's only owned by people of the public who choose to participate in owning it.
Right. Like BlackRock, who owns the vast majority of union 401ks.
Hey, can I interject real quick?
Please do.
Where does free thought enter into this conversation?
It enters into it in that you are allowed to say and have whatever thoughts you like. But that doesn't mean you can put them on whatever platform you like. The platform holder can determine what you're allowed to say.
Platform holders against free thought.
Sure.
That's a problem.
But it's
a problem because the government got involved.
That's what
during
it's a problem.
They were the fourth arm of the government.
Put like this: no entity, no government, whatever, within just our own freedom. And I know you don't believe in God, but
sure,
our own God's free will to think and say as we please. The government's job is not to restrict that, or not even government, or even just these entities. Like,
it's not their job, nor is it their right or their power.
So beyond anything that we see or whatever hits these algorithms, again, I think the overall goal or agenda is to find ways to limit free thought, right? You're coming in and interjecting within someone's ability to see something and choose whether or not they want to believe it or not. It's still free will. And to me, I think that's a problem. Like, we can go all over the place about, okay, if I own a company, I'm the one that decides on whether or not how people are allowed to receive this content.
Right.
You are in a sense on a smaller scale within just your application, Mike Zuckerberg or whatever Chinese individual owns TikTok. You are destroying free will. And it just starts there. It's like, where does it end? Right. I think it expands, and they find other ways to limit free will as we go.
Yeah, so, I'm completely against blocking any video ever. Like I said, you can literally on any platform. But like, if you are going to allow your platform to be in America, you have to abide by our constitutional rights.
No. You can
say no.
Yeah,
what I'm saying is this is my insight.
I don't.
This is my view.
I disagree.
And as a liberal, I completely understand that when you disagree, you just want to block people.
No, I'm saying if you Jose Pio want to start your own Rumble
Truth
or
Social,
yeah, right.
Gotcha.
You can block whoever you want. It is your platform.
Yes, until when?
What do you mean?
It's not Zuckerberg's platform anymore.
Why?
Because he answers to a board of directors. He answers the voters.
So it's all them. Yep.
Right.
Yep. It's their platform.
Yep.
Okay.
And the votes belong to who?
What do you mean the votes belong to the shareholders?
Right. And who owns the majority of votes amongst those shareholders?
Whoever has bought into the
most amount of votes, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's
BlackRock, Vanguard.
Sure.
Those are yes. Yep. So when those companies have taken over pensions,
then because you know that it's your responsibility to
take my money out of the pension.
Yeah, sure.
So I got to take my pension money out of the city council. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Okay. I don't get a choice in it. I can't choose who runs the pension fund. I have no choice in that.
Well, Stryker just said First Amendment covers that, right? So is there within just the First Amendment, right? Just like our last show where, again, if I was, when I was talking about, people who spreading communism, I was like, no, fuck that. They need to go to jail. Get them out of here. Right?
I think you said kill them.
I probably that too.
Yeah.
I don't care. Hang them. Do all that. Yeah.
The First Amendment covers the government. The government cannot restrict your speech.
So, but the government's job is to protect that, though.
Yes.
Exactly.
So
Right.
it
So
does. So it doesn't
it
doesn't just go to just the government.
So them reaching out to these entities and saying we need you to take this down.
Yeah, because that's
Sure,
That's
not-
against
yeah.
the First Amendment rights.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
And that's what they did, though.
Are they still doing that? You said the Supreme Court overturned that.
Right. They can't do it anymore.
Right.
But they're still taking down videos.
Right. But then now that is on
That's
the
on
platform holders.
them. Fine. We'll agree to disagree on that one
yes.
and
Okay.
jump into asylum
Well,
seekers.
so I guess so. Your idea though is that YouTube is the public square.
Yes,
Okay, I disagree with that. YouTube is a private
that's fine.
platform.
But it's
I disagree.
still offered to the public
Yes,
In
with
America.
free
as their
access
choice.
as their choice, but still it is still a public accepted application. We all have the ability to get it. You can't even run away from YouTube. It's literally downloaded on every single cell phone
Sure.
for you. So I
Sure,
get
you don't have
what
to
you're
use it though.
You don't have right, but it's still available for you. It's just the
Yep.
same as if you're going into a park that is there for the public. You don't have to go to the park. It's there for you
No,
to use.
the park is government.
But still, it's still public access. You have public access to it. There's nothing limiting you from accessing YouTube. You can
Right.
you can get it's right there. So I get the private side of things, but
Mhm.
still they make it so accessible so that it is accepted. Pretty much the entire world has access to YouTube. So
Not just access to it.
it's everywhere.
It's given to
It's
you.
given to you.
And since
So-
now kids have Google accounts because of COVID,
right.
you now have the ability to just create your own Facebook account
I think
without your parents knowing.
absolutely. I think what we have to do within a society, we have to kind of come to the realization that, okay, yes, times have completely changed as far as within technology and how it's become so readily available to everyone, anyone. So within just that, within our own freedoms and rights, it still should extend to that because we are accepting these devices as an everyday. Like they're trying to use this
extension of like us.
Yes, right.
Well,
which they
but
want.
That's antithetical to the First Amendment.
Yo, don't
What
be
you're
using no
doing-
big words on me, Austin. All right.
No, so that's the opposite though of the First Amendment because what you're then doing is saying the government should compel YouTube to allow everything.
Not compel. They should uphold.
Exactly.
They should uphold.
No, because
your
if
rights.
YouTube does not want to allow everything,
Then they shouldn't be allowed in America.
regardless of that,
no, that's
Go
because
to
it's
China.
a private company.
Go to China. They
No,
don't
no.
need to be in America.
Why?
They don't.
No, they can't. You
Go
can't.
to a country that doesn't have the right
China
to free
can
speech.
do it.
So you want them forced out of the country? You don't want them
If
to be
you
able to run
don't-
their
if-
business
if a-
their way?
If an individual, which is what any LLC or corporation is,
Yeah.
if an individual does not want to abide by the rules and laws of our country,
They are.
then
Though.
they shouldn't
They
be in
gotta
our
go.
country.
They are abiding by
No,
them.
not.
Yes, they
Freedom of
are.
speech
They're not.
No, the freedom of speech only
applies to individuals.
to the government.
No.
The government cannot compel your speech.
no.
No,
It's a
no.
right given to the people.
Right. And people
I'm sorry, I lied. It's not a right given to the people. It's a construct that's going to stop the government from impeding on our rights.
Right.
It's an inalienable right.
Right.
But
So our inalienable rights, which Facebook does not give to us, the government does not give to us. The Bill of Rights doesn't give it to us. It's
Right.
given to us immediately.
all those are all Facebook and YouTube are platforms.
Right.
Privately owned platforms.
Individuals.
Doesn't matter.
They're
Doesn't matter.
individuals.
Yeah, you can create your own platform and allow
Absolutely.
whoever you want on it. And you can
Absolutely.
also say whoever you want is not allowed on it.
And that's
You know,
the-
that you can't say, you can't just go with that. You can't say that I'm just going to start a freaking social media company and I'm going to go up against Facebook and
YouTube.
TikTok and Instagram.
So
That's
you're
not gonna
saying it's a
happen.
monopoly?
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
it's 100% a monopoly, but that's
Well,
a
it's
totally
monopoly
different-
with the freaking power of the government behind it.
Yeah, and that's a different argument. Within just that platform, again, it is a platform that extends further than any reach of like our government and connecting people together in a wide range. This is probably why they created this shit, so that they can
Was it?
silence
Okay,
people
but-
and reach more people and then silence them and have more control, because the government, just like the government is using your argument,
Mhm.
you would work well within the United States
Because he's a liberal.
cabinet, right? You would,
Sure,
they would
yeah.
love you in the Biden cabinet. for this argument, because the fact that that's what they lean on. Well, it's a private, there's nothing we can do. But at the same time, they know that reach, and the federal government has propped up platforms like YouTube, TikTok, especially TikTok by the Chinese government. So you got the United States and the Chinese government working with each other on TikTok.
I wonder who's between that.
Right. And you got to ask yourself too, with TikTok, why do they put so many like conspiracy theories, like videos, like they let those go. Like they let a lot of misinformation, disinformation
for a little bit of time.
Yeah, for a little bit, then they'll pull it just to confuse the masses. These are tactics that dictators use when there's confusion, when people don't know the truth, they can't figure out what's real or what's not, all that shit. So many questions. That again, even just within that, we still should have the ability to see what's out there and then be able to conversate and comment amongst each other. Be like, yo, no, that's bullshit. No, I agree with that, whatever, as a community. But when you have these platforms like YouTube, like TikTok, like Facebook, where Zuckerberg even said it himself, the feds came up to him and said, yo, we need you to pull stuff about Pizzagate. We need you to pull stuff about. That's what they did. And so, again, just like I said, our inalienable rights should be protected across any platform. I don't care if you don't like the fact that freedom of speech rings within your platform, then don't create it.
Something I'll give Austin this is that, I mean, you're a mother of a 5-year-old. You decide to allow your 5-year-old to have a social media. No. All right. So that's something within your power as a parent that you still have. Do you know, like, is there a certain age, or are you thinking of
like for never?
For never.
Probably never. Like as it is now, I limit how much I post him. I used to love putting up pictures and stuff of my son, but
there's
as you start and as you start just kind of networking with people, then inevitably people in that area join in. And when I started noticing people like saving videos or like things of my son,
isn't that weird?
But I couldn't see who it was. That for me was like, no, I just felt so like skeeved out by it, like I'm already a nut job about my son. I'm a smothered.
No, you're just a nut job, period.
Yeah, probably, for sure.
About your son is a whole different.
Yeah, whole other level. So like social media, like his information being out there, it'd be one thing if they were teaching them how to keep all those things safe.
Or another thing if they're teaching them everything that China's teaching their kids or allowing their kids to see about on TikTok.
Right.
When it's all about educational things, it has nothing to do with
completely different versions. 2
different platforms.
Well, I think the accountability factor comes into just how you're raising your child anyway, right? And at the same time, right? Okay, we definitely don't want a place where, it already happens, where you got a tranny dude on TikTok, you know what I mean, telling young kids that it's okay to cut your meat off, right? Like that's out there on TikTok. So the responsibility then turns on the parents. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, go ahead, post that shit, go right ahead. But me as a parent, I have to be consciously aware of what my child is doing with that cell phone.
Because they can't make that decision on their own.
No, they can't. So which is why, all right, back in the day, I remember just a landline. I had to ask to use the phone. Yeah. Back in the day.
I had to have my landline in the kitchen.
Yes.
That I paid for.
The cord was like 75 feet long.
Oh, yeah, 100 feet long. Yeah.
I closed the door out one time calling this girl that, she, one of my first ever girlfriends. And
Austin's already lost with the phone line thing, but go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I remember landlines.
Landlines. Did you have caller ID? You was probably in the caller ID world. Like you had caller ID.
He was born with caller ID.
No.
Yeah, you were.
You didn't caller ID
I was born in the 90s.
Right. Caller ID came
caller
in
ID
1993.
Was around 1990s, yeah.
Okay. We didn't get it.
When were you
caller ID?
When were you born?
I was born in 92.
Right. Yeah. You were born into caller ID.
But we didn't have it when I was born.
Yeah.
What a privilege.
Yeah. Another privileged white guy speaking up.
I remember, when we first got internet and everything. Like I remember the analog world.
Oh, okay. You heard that dial up?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
I used to get in so much trouble.
Oh, I was up late at night. I was watching.
Phone just.
How many fathers today are answering the phones and hearing a boy on the other line? What are you doing? Yo, he laid. Yo, he went in on me. I had no idea he was going to answer the phone.
Other girls, yeah.
Yeah.
When you had to ask for them, which means you had to ask the parent to talk to the child.
Do not call my house after 8 p.m.
Oh, yo, he said, what are you doing calling my daughter, boy?
Yeah.
I was like, huh? He's like, you heard me. What you doing calling my daughter? I said, he's like, don't ever call here again for my daughter. And she was 12 at the time. I was 13. You know, young, you're not knowing, but that shit happens. But now a 12 and 13-year-old,
Well, they have their own phone.
They have their own phones.
They're posting
you have
on
no idea
Snapchat.
what they're saying. And let me tell you, she was not your typical 12-year-old. She was like in the 16, had a 16-year-old mind. She was about it. She was about that action. And no matter how hard he tried to stop her, he couldn't do anything about it. But still, at the same time, just from that, I knew I couldn't call.
Send a smoke signal.
Throwing pebbles at the window.
Yo, she was like, yo, you got to call me. You got to call me, girl.
You couldn't page her?
No. Pagers, no, we didn't.
Pager in the 90s.
Yeah, but we didn't have enough money to get pagers.
I was just going to say, like, could you afford a
I afforded it.
Wow.
I was working since I was 14, so I always had the money because I was like, I couldn't have.
Same, but like, I definitely didn't. Well, okay,
I
I grew up, you couldn't. There was
Where'd you grow
not
up?
that kind of service.
Oh.
Like for a pager, Penn
Where'd you grow up? Penn Yan?
Yan, yeah.
Oh, yeah, they ain't had none.
No, they had really good wrestlers because they were all freaking country boys out there.
Yeah, they had the
Still
bootleg pager outlets on the
Yo,
corner.
I had like the bubblegum version.
Oh yeah. We had a pager.
Did it match your hair?
Corner back in the day.
That was when I was just like too afraid to, live my full life.
Venture out into the real world.
Ay.
Accountability, y'all. That's the moral of the story.
After the 30 minutes of us talking about accountability and making sure that our, entities that are controlling our entire life on this thing, let's jump into
That's your choice, though.
more basic things in our city.
Well, hold up. Just that it's fun. Like when you start little segues and you say little things to end the conversation, you create another conversation. Jose.
I always do.
this
Yeah.
all the time.
We
which
try
is
to
why-
leave on an argument.
right, which is why our show always goes over. And this might be a conspiracy though, but I mean, after watching Black Mirror, I don't think it's a conspiracy.
I love Black Mirror.
The transition,
Not the new episodes.
Too afraid.
Well,
I liked the first 2 seasons.
Yeah,
I did. The first 2 seasons way better than the last ones. The transition from the cell phone to something more mobile, right? Like either
in your head.
Yeah, or I've seen stuff where there's like something that's implanted on your wrist. You can kind of create a screen.
Well, how far does it go from having a watch to just having it on your wrist?
Right, and just so many different advances that are coming down the pipeline to where we don't have to carry this block and chain.
Yeah,
we'll get something implanted to where we can either
and you don't have to recharge
see it within our eyes. We can put some contacts in. All of a sudden, we can talk just from, I don't know, having something implanted in the back of our ear. Like that's Black Mirror. Like, where do you guys see that happening sooner than later, or?
I hope not.
That's still a long ways away.
How
because we
far?
still haven't gotten to the vaccines that put the nanobots into your body that will decide what's going on with your body, then transfer that to your phone or transmit that to your phone.
Bro,
we haven't
in
gotten
China,
there yet.
they're already paying, and not even just China, UK also. They're already got the implants you could pay just from an implant.
Right, but we're pretty much like 5 to 10 years behind them.
We are?
Yeah.
Oh,
we in
because
America.
Maybe it's our constitution.
Well, it's because we haven't allowed the downfall quite yet.
Is it the reason, or is it just?
I mean, in the past 3 years, I think we've gone. Past 3 years, we've gone further down the hole than we've ever, like as fast as we've ever been. It's amazing how much of a difference it's made having a different president in there that has allowed our country to decline to the point, in my point of view, to where something like that could be more feasible. Now, if it were another president that wasn't a Manchurian candidate, maybe we may not be to where we are right now. Maybe if our previous president didn't win and it was Hillary Clinton, where would we be today?
Be a lot faster, be hyperspeed.
Right. Now, what would have stopped it? What would have stopped it?
Yeah.
What would have stopped COVID? What would have, maybe COVID would have came 2-3 years earlier.
Yeah. Well, I think
now we're going to the freaking black hole there.
Yeah. Well, I think, I try to play the Matrix within just everything. I don't.
Andrew Tate.
You have to kind of play the game for what it is. And you're talking about Trump, of course, that one candidate versus the current vegetable that we have in office right now. I do think that everything that Trump represents, it is his agenda or the reason why Trump is who he is is to isolate the folks who are going to be the problem. Right now, you've grouped everyone that follows and understands and believes all of the things, and everything Trump says is 100% like, in my opinion, just a lot of the policies and stuff that he was coming out with are legit, right? And he did do every single thing that he said he was going to do. And
I can't agree with that, but continue.
Well, okay,
with your point.
Probably more than any other president, he accomplished and did what he set himself out to do.
And he also didn't do what they said would happen under him.
Right. So I think, but that was designed by the overall, globalist agenda, which we don't talk about enough, is the globalists, the people who's really pulling the strings.
Oh, we're going to get into it. Don't worry.
Oh, good. What? There we go.
My conspiracy theory of the day or of the week, you're going to love.
I'm going to shut up. I'm just going to let you go on to the next topic then.
We got to talk still. We're trying to keep it local here with the,
It got hot as hell up in this motherfucker. I'm going to take my hoodie off, if you don't mind.
I have that fan blowing directly into any opening on my clothing. I
don't know what the hell's going on.
Cold from the inside out.
Push the fan, I guess, towards this way because I'm hot too.
Good. It's I'm in a.
Depends on the shirt you're wearing. Oh, okay.
60 degrees.
I don't think I've ever seen him in anything but a black shirt.
Yeah, it's my color. Black
as hell.
Black on black on black. Because I'm black, and only black people like to wear black.
No, I'm a big black fan.
Yeah, black is literally the best. Like whatever.
The littering problem in our city.
Department of Environmental Services. Hey, hire more people. We got the jobs.
So people are starting to take it on themselves. People are starting to say, all right, I'm tired of this nonsense where they're at a stoplight, they're at a stop sign, someone's throwing trash out their window. I've seen it multiple times, and every single time I'm like, I just want to freaking bash these windows in because it's the most disturbing thing that I've ever seen, to just throw an entire McDonald's bag out the freaking window with all the contents. Like that's it. It's one of my huge pet peeves.
Yeah.
Well, someone decided last year that they were going to go up against this person that stopped at a light and say, you dropped your bag of garbage. Here it is. This person, a parolee, is now convicted of shooting at the couple who tried to return the garbage to him in Webster. He was a parolee. A man who prosecutors said fired a gun at two people following an altercation at a stoplight in Webster last year has been found guilty. Now, the people who are going against him said, obviously, this person should not be in public. At what point do we go? Like, in my personal opinion, I'm not a big fan of jail, right? I think that jail is a system that really kind of is terrible.
Fuck that. Take your ass to jail.
Sounds to me
jail,
lock you up.
But like,
Fuck them.
No one gains from jail. No one.
I disagree.
I'm not saying not imprisonment. What I'm saying is the jail system that America has been relying upon, which is a cage for animals.
Okay, give me the alternative.
The alternative might be a system in which, and again, I'm throwing this out there.
System. What is the alternative? Because
doesn't need to be a cage, is what I'm saying. Doesn't need to be brick walls, a cage with a toilet in each
alternative.
room.
Yes. What's the alternative?
So how about like the military, where you have 8 people sleeping in they're on bunk beds, like in the military, and then you have a centralized bathroom where you can freely go to the bathroom whenever you want.
Well, there's people camps. That's the same thing,
right? And there's people that walk around, make sure that no one's getting butt raped.
But they have that though. They like you're not confined within your cell for 24/7 unless you're like the most notorious.
No. Because I have family members. I have family members who have been in isolation for a long time.
And what did they do to get in isolation?
They got in a fight with somebody who was trying to fight them.
Okay.
Really? Okay.
I mean, listen,
what part of prison system don't you think causes people to want to fight each other? I'm not saying
the people who run the system are good within a jail system. The people who come up with that decision to put this guy in isolation based off of that altercation, that's on the CO at that time. The people who are within the system are fucked up just as much as the people who are there for their own crime.
Every person.
I'm not saying
not everybody.
Right, but there is whatever balance.
If
whatever
you're a rapist, if you're a child molester, if you're a person who, let's say you just cut bodies apart and freaking for fun, that's different from someone who, let's say you stole from me, you're running away, I shot at you, now I'm a freaking killer. right? There's different types of killers out there. Or I'm a 19-year-old young man who was dating someone in high school. I went off to college. She's now at the high school level of senior and hasn't hit 18 yet. And we had sex and the dad got mad and she's still 17. Now I'm a rapist. That's not the same style of rapist as what happened in Buffalo with the new asylum seekers that decided they're going to rape a young woman in front of a 3-year-old kid. Like there's levels to this.
There are levels, but
look,
it's within the system, within the people who run the system, how they're instructed. How they're instructed to handle everything. I think, and I say this a lot, within crime and situations, everything is a case by case situation. We can't just paint, every criminal with the broad brush.
Right.
I get that point. I get that. I'm good with you there. But at the same time, whatever crime you commit, there has to be consequences.
Absolutely.
Now in Russia, fuck, Brittany Griner.
That's not a dude.
Was almost about to serve 8+ years for a vape pen.
Yeah,
right?
That's wild.
China, I'm pretty sure it's even worse.
Yeah.
So for what we have within our country,
well, no comparison though.
No, they're in comparison based off of the criminals that are sent away from the public because they don't have
or sent here to America.
They don't have the ability to adhere to our laws. There has to be a place, a facility.
Yes.
And I do think, all right, every crime is not the same. So maybe we could have jail cells where, well, we do have them.
Yeah.
People who commit white collar crimes can just go and live in a lavish, prison and just.
Jeffrey Epstein was not in a lavish prison the second time. He was in a lavish prison the first time,
the first time he had his own office.
Yeah, he can do whatever the hell he wanted.
I mean, you just gotta know people, I guess.
Yeah. Well, have a lot of money. Or doing work for people.
Or be Obama's middleman.
Just have a lot of information on them.
Hold on. Allegedly.
YouTube, don't yell at me.
Allegedly. I'm just saying.
But I am a believer that our judicial system is pretty good. There could be some tweaks. Especially in New York State. There are some tweaks that we did that were we went a little bit too far to the left. When we should have,
you just letting people out for killing people.
When we just let people out because they were over 55 years old. Like that's. And then at this point right now where we can't try 17-year-olds because they're not quite adults, they're too young. I mean, I think we're at the point where we know that grown-ass 17-year-olds can join the freaking NBA, right?
Yeah.
So there has to be, I feel like there should be tiered systems where the worst of the worst, they go to prison. Like you are a disgusting human being. You're never going to change. You ate somebody. You're a freaking cannibal, or you're a child molester and you've been caught multiple times. You're never going to change.
Depending on the crime, you go away for life.
I think that there should be life where you are in a completely different civilization, where you are on an island by yourself with all the other people who are just like you, and you guys can butt ram each other all you want.
Well, that sounds expensive. I think
literally just thinking like, wow.
Yeah, like
was that too far?
At that point, no. Well,
butt just went to the butt.
I think in that
you're raping little kids. I mean, how far of a distance is that from a grown ass human being?
Where they want to go though.
Just
want to get all the butt,
all the butt they can get. All right.
I just want to be on an island somewhere.
Yeah. Well, okay. Let's say Greenland.
Okay.
Like no one wants to go to Greenland.
No, yeah, definitely a warmer.
But this, Greenland is a beautiful place.
Yeah, don't send.
It's not Maui.
Is the goal to rehabilitate a murderer, or is the goal to make them answer to their crime?
Both, and at the same time.
Because for me, again, I've had 2 situations where someone took the life of a loved one, and within just my own development as a person, as an individual, right, I had to come to grips of not being able to see that person for the rest of my life. Okay. At the same time, these individuals have the ability to get out no matter what, no matter how many years they gave them. They have the opportunity to get up and live their life, regardless of the choice they made to cut someone else's life short. Me personally, I don't think that's a good trade-off.
I agree.
Right. So it puts more responsibility on me.
Are you biased in that opinion because you were so close to the person who was affected?
Yeah, you can say I'm biased. Absolutely.
So,
but I think this goes back to case by case,
right?
Like situations. Like obviously yours might be a little bit more aggressive than some.
Yeah, but it's still at the end of the day, the choices you make, you have to answer to them.
Yes, I'm not saying
but you have to be responsible for it, and whatever the laws that we. But with that, whatever the laws.
If I'm cleaning a weapon, I would never, because I don't. It's too much cleaning, probably. But like, if
you never clean a weapon, or you never own a weapon.
It's an accident. Accidental.
Everything in my home is a weapon to me.
Accidental versus deliberate. You chose. Right. There was a moment in time where rage took over your inability to stop and think about what you were doing. Right. So, for example, but
even that has a spectrum, because if someone were to come in, let's say, and try to rob your mom's house, and he ends up doing something to your mom, there's going to be retribution there, and it's, in my opinion, qualified. Should you now be tried as the same person that his girlfriend was out, his ex-girlfriend was out with another man from freaking 3 years ago? You guys broke up, and he's still on this woman's life and freaking heckling her any chance he gets. He sees another man, he shoots that man. That's a whole different mindset of, did it on purpose?
Yeah, but then those are crimes of passion.
Right, but even in the passion thing is what
it doesn't matter. It's the same thing. You don't have the ability. Yes, you don't have the ability to respect the life of someone else. You do not have the right to cut that person's life short based off of your own insecurity, based off of your inability to stop what you were doing.
But the UFC fighter whose son was being touched and fondled by a friend,
different
and
case.
Then he went after
different
that guy.
Case, different situation.
Right.
That's about protecting. That's about,
it's still retribution.
It's still retribution, but within a different context, right? What caused that person to do what they do? Every situation is definitely not the same, right? So, for example, within just my own personal situation, my brother, thought my brother said something to him.
Mm-hmm.
My brother couldn't hold a full sentence. He took a crowbar, beat him to death in broad daylight. To me, personally, no, you should not get the opportunity to see the light of day. But you know what he got? 10 years, period. So the system within the system itself.
He probably got more than 10 years, meaning he was able to walk away with something to work on in life that hopefully he never did that again.
Bro, he got 10 years because he couldn't speak English. He got 10 years because they put my brother on trial for his own mental health situations. So within the system, there are definitely flaws. And this misperception that they throw the gauntlet at minorities is bullshit. That's bullshit. Like, people get short sentence based off of technicalities, based off of lies, based off of so many different situations.
There was an illegal immigrant that rammed a car into a bus, and the kid, young 11-year-old kid, the bus tried swerving to miss it, and the freaking vehicle just hit him anyways. They were driving in opposite directions. They just hit each other, and the bus kind of flipped, and the kid flew out the window and died. 11-year-old kid. The person was an illegal immigrant who was already supposed to be kicked out. And yet here he was driving without a license, without the ability to drive. Probably has no idea what the proper rules of the road is, let alone whatever, mindset he was in when he crossed the freaking lines to go to the other side. The most amount he's going to get is, I think, 5 years. No, it's a $5,000 fine. $5,000 fine for crossing the lines and ending up in death because he didn't do it on purpose.
That's the intent, though. That's
right, but he came in here illegally, and he was not supposed to be here.
You got to kick him out.
You got to kick him out.
But where are the checks and balances, though? That's the point. How was he even given the opportunity to drive over the other line if he was already supposed to be gone?
But this is the problem, is that we have gone so far left that we allow all these rules right here to apply to everyone until a certain point, instead of saying, look, our judges should be able to say, you don't deserve to be here, you don't deserve to live, and there's a spectrum in between here.
Yeah, well,
I'm a fan of look, the death penalty. I think we should bring back, because some people don't deserve to live. Look, and also the Bible doesn't say thou shalt not kill,
but we have
thou shalt
that
not murder.
We have that in New York State. Who's been sentenced to die in New York State ever since we had? How many people have we executed in New York State?
Probably nobody.
No one.
Right.
So that, it's good within theory, But at the same time, I just don't think it's fair to where you have case by case situations, and whatever the court can prove or not be able, or unable to prove, we are allowing people who are taking the lives of others to be released in jail to either, number one, do the shit again, or, let's say they do, rehabilitate themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care how rehabilitated you are. If you again, the one example I said about, the guy who killed my brother, he could come back 20
You still got
years.
it in you.
Oh yeah, no,
You
listen, it's not going anywhere. He could come back 20 years as a fucking preacher, and I'll tell him,
he probably will come back as a
get
preacher,
out of my face, you piece of shit,
Rochester.
before I punch you, before I do something to you, right? Because again, your actions at that very moment, it showed who you truly are.
The character.
It's totally right. Right.
There was an old guy, I think he was 64 years old, right off of Lyle Avenue the other night, got beat to death. The guy was getting beat by like a 30-something-year-old guy who, I don't know what was wrong with this guy, but I guess an argument ensued. He ended up start beating on him. The freaking old guy, again, like 64 years old, runs to the store in order to like kind of get away from the guy. And the guy goes into the store and continues to beat on him till he dies. Till he dies. Like, in what? That's the other part of it. It's like that person should not live at that point. You're going to beat up on a 64-year-old.
Yeah. Well, I'll give you
to the point where they're running away and you're going to continue to beat up on them because of an argument.
Remember the Boys and Girls Club, Genesee Street,
right?
7 or 6 innocent people were shot and killed.
Yeah, mass murder.
And no one was found guilty. But the one who they apprehended and was released end up getting killed on Dewey Avenue.
Yeah, retribution
all day.
Yeah,
absolutely. But our system failed those folks during that time, because then after he was released and after he knew he couldn't get tried again, he made a song about the shit.
Yeah, it's so messed up.
And it was the girlfriend who turned him in, just FYI. The girlfriend said, I can't go along with this anymore. It was him that did it. And then the police caught them. So it's like there's so many things wrong in New York State. I'm not gonna lie. Like it's so bad out here, but at the same time,
well, Barbara just said street justice. Do you believe, or would you accept street justice?
Yes. I think that street justice in certain instances should be overlooked. Meaning, if my 5-year-old daughter gets raped by a grown ass man, and I kill him, right? And I kill him, the judge should be like, "Look, yeah, man, I get it. Look, you do got to go to jail, and you've been in jail for freaking 5 nights until you had this court date. You're good.
Gotta go."
But then again, it's someone else can say that's why I killed him because of this, that, and the other. Well, now you got to prove it, right?
Have you ever seen the show Sons of Anarchy?
Of course.
Good. I'm glad you've seen it. I'm glad you've seen it. Have you seen something?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. There's not too many people who haven't seen the show, right?
My wife has not.
What?
She refuses to watch it.
She refused to watch it?
I told her it's a good show. Tell her in the camera.
Edna, what are you doing?
Right. Ashley, tell her in the camera.
I mean, at least for
you gotta watch. You have to watch
purposes,
it.
Well, she doesn't. Well, she's not into biker guys, I guess. She likes short, 5'2" Puerto Ricans with very beautiful faces.
The reason why I love Sons of Anarchy,
I'm quite humble, obviously,
is because they lift the veil of just reality in life. Period. Whether it's the law enforcement or the criminality sides. But the one thing that I noticed about the club is loyalty is the most important thing. And if you hurt somebody within their family, the justices, they have no faith within the justice system.
None. And should we?
No, we should. Right. We
because what's happening in Rochester right now, should we have
I'm like
faith
hanging by a
in
thread
the
with the justice system.
We're trying to keep our faith within it, but every time we go out and rely on it, we get burned, right?
Yeah,
so if I was a character on SOA and the 2 individuals within my life, both of my brothers that passed away, the individuals that did that would not be breathing right now. And within just that criminal element, it's okay. It's pretty much respected across the board. So it's like, how far do you how much can you rely on the justice system anyway?
If I were to ask or answer honestly, no, the Mayans show is not the same.
No way,
not even clear to say.
Even though I love,
close.
I respect the Mayans. I respect my man Alvarez.
It's not the same.
It's not the same show.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do.
Jax Teller is
the man. He's like literally the best character.
My favorite was a knife that he freaking just stabs the engine with.
I started
like,
carrying knives because of Jax Teller.
Yeah, I got a big ass. I got multiple knives in my Jeep. It's probably because I'm Puerto Rican though. Yeah, Edna, watch the show.
Yeah, what are you doing, Edna?
Yeah, she's crazy, right?
We gotta catch you up on shit.
Edna, you're fine. I haven't seen it either.
Whoa, what?
You haven't seen it either?
What?
No, I have not.
How do you own a beard and you haven't seen it?
And how are you Irish and you've not seen it?
Oh,
I'm
man.
not Irish.
He's not
right.
Irish.
Your last name is
British.
Scott.
Yeah, that's
That means
Scottish. That's a.
You're white.
That's
You're
a,
right.
thought they were the same.
Scottish.
I thought they were the same.
It's a total.
He's bagpipes
It's in
and
my
freaking
name.
kilts.
I thought they were the same.
Yeah, it's top of the morning to you or whatever.
Oh, so you're not Irish. All right,
No.
my bad. You'd have been cooler if you were Irish.
Yeah, he should have went with it.
Scottish. You're like just what
now
is
he's
that?
now he's a Scottish Satanist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
yeah.
Scottish, right? No
To be
wonder.
fair, he
That
really
makes
looks
sense.
of Scottish descent to me.
Sure.
Like
It's
not to, like, you know,
according to
but-
Ancestry.com.
I guess
I'm
you know
1% Congo. So.
Yeah, you listen.
Yeah, he's
you
also
are.
African American.
Sure.
Listen,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
why you hold that color a little bit. You got a little
Yeah,
melanin
yeah,
in there.
yeah. Well, I used to hold more until I didn't vote for Biden.
You don't get sunburned either, huh? You can sit out in the sun and be good, right?
Oh, sure.
See,
Absolutely.
it's that Congo in them.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
the Congo in him. That 1% holds a little more melanin.
Yeah, yeah.
A little bit.
That was my pickup line. You got a little Congo in you? Would you like to?
Would you like some? Excuse me. You better watch. You should watch it. Ashley.
Ashley, did that work on you? Did that work? Yeah, it made her laugh. That's all women want. They want to be. They
like-
want to laugh.
I do a lot when I'm anxious.
Okay.
You know, and I feel like that's most women. We awkwardly giggle because we're like, God, this is so horrifying.
Isn't every
Oh,
woman? Is
man.
every woman anxious? Is every woman like? I feel like they are.
I think. I mean, anxious, insecure for sure. You know.
Mm.
I mean, that's just the world. That
Except
we live in.
for Lizzo.
Yeah, but she's like kind of a closeted monster. You know.
She likes
Like,
bananas.
I'm not
I
sure.
love Lizzo.
I'm not sure what closet she could fit in, but
That is so rude.
uh.
I just don't like that. Like, as a woman who promotes being comfortable in your own skin, like with your body type,
Uh-huh.
with what the universe gave you.
Uh-huh.
How are you gonna turn around and fat shame your own dancers?
and force them to eat bananas?
I friggin' hate bananas. It's textural for me. Like, I just
It's
feel,
the gayness for me.
it's
That's why I don't eat
listen,
bananas.
don't bring your mouth to it, Jose. You gotta bring the banana up.
Pretty sure it's still the same thing.
That could go in so many different ways.
Goes in the way that it was for
Meant
sure
to?
intended.
Meant to?
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
Oh,
for
that's
sure.
okay. That's a
No, I just mean like don't ever bring your mouth to a wiener shaped food. It's just like a golden rule, I think.
a glizzy without a bevy. Eat a hot dog without a bevy. It only mean one thing. You might as well hit the button. Ever since New Yorkers, started poking fun about the glizzies, I've not eaten a hot dog the same. I literally look around
How
and
were you
make
eating
sure.
them before?
No, like I'm more
He was definitely
consciously
there.
aware who's watching. I'm making sure there's
Both
no
hands.
no cameras around to get the Obama photo where he's biting well into that glizzy.
Well, I mean,
So
According to his letters, he likes them a lot.
just to be clear, you're supposed to eat it from up.
I know.
if you guys
Without
could
a
see
bevy-
what Austin is doing.
Without a bevy, you can't
Definitely
eat a
how it's supposed to be
glizzy.
done.
Oh, okay. I'll do that next time.
Yeah.
You just got to have a bevy with your glizzy and you good.
Oh, sure.
That's
Absolutely.
that's the way the New Yorkers laid down the law.
Austin's a milker. That's what we call it in the porn world. You're milking it.
Oh.
You lay them on a bed with a hole, and they lay down with it dangling down, and you just milking it.
How do you know that?
I know everything about
How
porn,
is
dude.
that a real term that I've never
Yeah, I've never heard that, man.
I
And
know
I've,
nothing about
I've been
What are
deep
you
on the
into?
internet.
You don't want to know. Let's go to the conspiracy theory of the week. I know this is a super sensitive topic. I know YouTube is probably going to stop this as soon as we start talking about it. I
That's
guarantee
what we
See
do.
it. I guarantee it. But listening to my boy Vivek Ramaswamy, I know that there's a whole bunch of freaking heat against this guy right now coming from Republicans. I don't care. I don't care what you guys say. Trust me. This guy is legit, but he's getting attacked by Fox News now. And that will lead to our conspiracy theory of the week. So play the video starting at the 144 mark. You got that?
All right, 2020.
A minute 44 mark. As he's
of your battle with Congresswoman Presley a lot over the weekend. I don't think we need to rehash old ground. I want to go over some of the issues, though. You know, you said aid to Israel, our number one ally, only democracy in the region, should end in 2028, and that they should be integrated with their neighbors. I have an exact quote. You want me to read it?
That's actually, yeah, I can tell you the exact quote. What I said is it would be a mark of success if we ever got to a point in our relationship with Israel, if Israel never needed the United States' aid. And Sean, you know how politics is played. A lot of the other professional politicians who have been threatened by my rise have used that statement to say that I would cut off aid to Israel. That's not correct. I've been crystal clear.
But do
He
you,
should, though.
Condition
under which,
do you understand the importance of the strategic alliance, the intelligence sharing
Yes.
in an area of the world where we have a lot of enemies, which, by the way, boggles my mind that we look for the lifeblood of our economy and the world's economy from that very same region of the world, when we have more natural resources here.
He is a self-made rich guy.
You do understand how important that alliance is, and
Sean,
how important the intelligence factor is, and how important it is with Iran, especially seeking nukes.
I understand it, I think, more deeply than probably anybody in this race. I've traveled to Israel. I have business partners in Israel. The reality is this. By the end of my first term, our relationship with Israel will be stronger than it ever has been, because I will treat it as a true friendship, not just a transactional relationship.
And why did you say that they shouldn't have preferential treatment? Why did you say that Israel should not have preferential treatment from us? That's a direct quote.
Sean, I understand. No, those are direct quotes from headlines summarized by opposition research fed to the fake news media. The reality is, here's what I've said. But Abraham Accords 2.0 is my top priority. Abraham Accords 2.0 is my top priority, which is to get Saudi Arabia, Oman, Qatar into that pact with Israel. And foremost, to have a partnership with Israel that does something really important for the U.S., which is to make sure that Iran never, ever, ever has nuclear capabilities. That's important to the United States. And the other thing I've said, Sean, is that Israel's our friend. Good friends learn from each other. I would love Israel's border policies in this country. I would love Israel's tough on crime policies and strong national identity in this country. I would love an iron dome like Israel has to defend itself against Hamas, which is a good thing for Israel. I want something like that here in the United States. So I don't read from the traditional GOP talking point binder that's handed to traditional candidates. That's true. That lends itself to being misquoted. I love that. But it's actually a much more authentic commitment to Israel on the substance than just checking off the talking point of saying that we stand with Israel. That's meaningless. I prefer substance, and that's exactly where I've gone.
Go ahead, cut that.
In a lot of these long-form podcasts I've done.
All right, so you're deep breathing over there like a freaking weirdo.
Yeah.
So because go ahead and get to it.
This is the one reason why I was very reluctant with joining the Republican Party, because
you joined it.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna give you my reasons, and
I'm saying that I really don't
personally, I don't care what's
I really don't care.
There's a reason why. Okay, there's a broader reason why for that. It has absolutely
you don't need to explain nothing to me.
But what I'm gonna say, since we are on a podcast and stuff lasts forever,
sure does.
Want to make sure that I start off by saying this. This is the one reason why I've been very reluctant to align with this party, because of people like Sean Hannity, who will come out and just be so ignorant and just so close-minded when it comes to the state of Israel. And that, to me, it goes to show how deeply rooted the Israeli government is within the United States government.
Allegedly.
Thank you for saying that. But just going back to even before 9/11, the USS Liberty, where the Israeli Navy blew up one of our ships and claimed it was a mistake, right? When the United States men on that ship waved white flags and they still bombed them. Then let's go to 9/11. Before everything came out, the Israeli prime minister at that time. Oh, this guy knew everything what happened. He knew everything that happened. He knew everything. Oh, it was Osama bin Laden. Israel led the charge in forcing us into the Iraqi war. There's been so many violations of human rights within the state of Israel. Their occupation of the Palestinian people is a problem. If we're supposed to be the country about, freedom, democracy, etc., we turn a blind eye to Israel. We turn a blind eye to all the human rights violations within that state.
Tolerance.
Right. So when I see people like Sean Hannity on a conservative right-wing radio show attacking Vivek, I'm not sighing about Vivek. I'm more upset, Vivek. I'm more upset the fact that he has to defend himself to the party.
Right.
He should be able to say to his own people. He should be able to say what he wants. And within just the party, you have to figure out how you are going to support folks within your party. The same shit that you talk about the left and saying, oh, they're all sheeple. They all conform to one ideology. Well, Vivek should have the freedom and right to say, nah, we should have a more conscious relationship with Israel instead of this blind support. Well, we are just unilaterally, whatever. Unilaterally aligned with Israel,
giving them billions of dollars, yet getting
nothing in return. What? And then what he said was very, very
poignant.
Was the informations, they are the number one surveillance country in the world. Mm-hmm. They are like mining surveillance to everybody. We're not going to say who else was included in that. Right. And we're not going to talk about Mossad. Yeah. We're not going to talk about Ghislaine Maxwell's daddy. We're not going to talk about those other issues. So we don't know who Israel's in the bed with. They shake hands with Saudi Arabia.
It seems like they're not in the bed. They made the bed.
Oh, they made the bed. They shake hands with Saudi Arabia. They shake hands with China. They shake hands with Russia. They shake hands with all of our adversaries also.
So the question for Conspiracy Theory of the Week is...
Let's go.
This is going to get us canceled, guarantee. After seeing that, and what you've said over a number of weeks here, how can we not say that the Jews own the media to the point where you can't even talk about not continually funding them at any cost and forever without even obviously the mainstream media from the left went after him, but then also Fox News went after him. So when you got both sides coming after you for saying, look, we're going to fund them and we're going to freaking work with them and we want to have that relationship with them, but we don't want to have a relationship where we're continually funding them to the point of whatever it costs and forever and ever and ever, we'll just keep giving you money. How at that point are we not controlled by a certain entity that says you can't say shit about this? You must conform to this.
Know who you can't, whoever you can't criticize.
We saw what happened to Kanye West.
Can't do it.
Kanye West
can't do it.
Billionaire. He got knocked out to 400 million.
Well,
poor guy. I know, poor guy.
Yeah,
but still, you couldn't say anything. Who was it? Mel Gibson.
On
top of the world,
bro. And here's the thing.
He just said only he only said that it was anything that has to do with Hollywood was controlled by them, and he got pushed into the freaking gutter.
What did Dave Chappelle say?
He's
like, yo, I've been in Hollywood. There's a lot of Jews. a lot. And there's nothing.
But why can't you talk about that? No. Why can't you say things like, hey, guess what? You know what? It seems like, they might have some kind of finagling to do with not only Hollywood, but also when it comes to news media. It seems as though when it comes to being able to say what you want, you just can't say things about that or the trans movement. It's the same thing. Like if you were to say anything about the trans movement, you're asked out. If you're saying anything about Jews, anything, you're asked out. But not only that, we're going to jump into Oliver Anthony. It leads
There's
to
more.
There's way more to this. Let's go into the freaking rabbit hole here.
I appreciate it.
And don't worry, you don't have to say anything about any of this. I already know this is like rabbit hole sugar tits.
Wait, can I say this before we go into it?
Go ahead.
Because this should exonerate us as far as this topic of discussion. Okay,
nothing's going to exonerate us from this.
It has to be, because we're getting canceled. But this is what the state of Israel and the folks who are aligned with that specific religion, because there are different sects, right? There are different, and I'm talking about the Zionist leaders, those people, because again, there are Orthodox Jews who they go right at that group. There are Orthodox Jews. There are,
do they?
Yes, there are Jews that there are Torah Jews, there are Talmudic Jews, there are Zionist Jews. There are so many different forms of that religion. And those who read the Torah, they are the ones that protest against Israel. They protest against the settlements of Palestinian people, and they speak out against that. So
we send me this stuff because I have no idea what you're talking about.
I will definitely, and I advise people to look up the history of Israel.
He's already sent me stuff.
Yeah, but just look.
I do look into it. I'm trying to play the other side of this.
Yes,
I have no idea what you're talking about.
We are not talking about the people who practice that religion. We're talking about people who control that state and use the religion as a shield to control everybody else, right? That's why we can't say that. That's why, but we can say it because it's the truth,
right? We can't say that like on anything that's national, like YouTube.
No,
well, you know, after this, it's going to be blocked out,
right?
And there will never be an Ashley that ever came on the show.
Like my dreams come true.
All right, so let's get into Oliver Anthony's story. This is the newest, the newest stuff that's come out.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, right. Did you not think they're going to, go into his past and look to his videos of his previous music video? Do you know who Oliver Anthony is?
I don't.
He's the one that sang the new song "Rich Men from Richmond."
They're so weak.
Should we play it for her? I feel like we gotta play it for her at this point.
I feel like I would like a snippet for sure.
Okay.
Go ahead and look that up while I talk about this. Go ahead. All right. So Oliver Anthony is accused of promoting anti-Semitic 9/11 conspiracy theories, which I know you're gonna love about this. Not you.
I figured.
This gentleman right here. It says viral sensation and country music star Oliver Anthony has been found by Newsweek to be promoting videos about 9/11, which have been described by a group that combats anti-Semitism as dangerous conspiracy theories. Go ahead and play it. I don't hear anything. Go ahead. Keep.
What the world's gotten to for people like me.
You haven't seen this?
People like you wish I could just wake up.
I don't do social media the way that I appear to do it.
Oh, it is living in the new world with an whole soul. These rich men know the rich men.
Talking about DC politicians.
Just wanna have total control. Wanna know what you think. Wanna know what you do. And they don't think you know, but I know that you do. 'Cause your dollar ain't shit, and it's taxed to no end. 'Cause the rich men, 'cause the rich men.
I can listen to this all day. I love that song.
So anti-Semitic.
Right. Hold on. So he's got videos on his YouTube station. Okay. So this tweet right here by whoever this Ben Lorber guy is. Oliver Anthony, country singer behind the new conservative anthem. First of all, he's already said that he's not conservative. He has said, I don't ride with any of the political sides. I don't like any of them. He's like, when it comes to rich men north of Richmond, thank you very much, Stryker. Rich men north of Richmond, I don't ride with any of them. He said, I'm as middle as they come. I don't like Republicans. I don't like the fact that Republicans are taking control of my song, because I was talking about them as well, because it got brought up on the Republican national debate last week after our show. He said, I don't like the fact that they're talking about it because they don't understand that I'm talking about them as well. So he is not for either side. Oliver Anthony, country singer behind the new conservative anthem, Richmond North of Richmond, has a public YouTube playlist recommending videos that make your noggin get bigger. That's the playlist. 3 of the 48 videos are devoted to anti-Semitic conspiracy theories about 9/11. says 2 videos feature the dancing Israelis.
Fact. That's a fact. Oh, wait.
Canard. I don't know what canard means.
Let's not forget the Israelis that were arrested on the George Washington Bridge with bombs in their vans. Just saying.
That was. Hold on. 2 videos featuring the dancing Israelis. Canard. Again, I don't know what canard means. Someone can put it in there. Someone that's smarter than me.
Yeah.
Widely popular across the white nationalist internet.
Oh.
So that means you.
Oh yes.
Not you. You.
I am a white nationalist.
You're a black body. You're the black face of white conservatism here, alleging that Israelis celebrated the 9/11 attacks. Another is devoted to the conspiracy that a Jewish businessman took out an insurance policy and profited from the attack.
What magazine is this?
This is Twitter.
But I'm looking at this. That's what you're reading from who? From Twitter?
Yeah, from the guy that posted about this.
Who's the guy? Who's that?
Ben Lorber.
Ben Lorber.
But everybody after this talked about it. Every radio station, every news station talked about it.
Should we assume that Ben Lorber is?
Yes.
Okay. All right. It sounds
yes.
Pretty Jewish. I'm just saying.
Well, it says in the article, what it's saying there, it said, has been found by Newsweek to be promoting videos about 9/11, which has been described by a group that combats anti-Semitism. So these are the words, these are the phrases that we need to look for when we're reading any articles. Man. When it says, it's not that Newsweek found these to be anti-Semitic, which have been described by a group that combats anti-Semitism.
But why not identify the group if it's such a...
I'm sure they did later on. But that's what the media does, though. Mm-hmm. That's the same thing they did to me when they said that it was a bunch of black people that said that I was making racial remarks. And I'm like, the fuck are you talking about? I didn't make any racist. It had nothing to do with racism. It's just
racist.
Exactly. But that's what they do. These are the little words that they use that people need to be look for, because this is how they catch you in a way that they can say what they want and they're not lying about it.
Yeah.
Which have been described. So his videos have been described by a group. So this group automatically are biased. They said they combat anti-Semitism as dangerous anti-conspiracy theories. So they're already biased. And that group described these videos as anti-Semitism because they talked about the dancing Israelis and that a Jewish businessman who had an insurance policy on one and or all of the buildings on 9/11 took out an insurance policy and profited from the attack. So the fact that he made songs about that, one was called Richard Gage Reveals Who Was Behind 9/11. Another video was Fox News segment on the dancing Israelis. So it was on the news. They did talk about it. I know they talked about it. I know they arrested him. I remember fully every video from 9/11 because I was in the military, in intel analysis. I was analyzing every data that came in about 9/11. I know everything.
Wasn't their job to record the event?
They were found to be in handling of recording devices.
To document the event?
They documented the event. For who?
Wasn't there a book that Netanyahu wrote before 9/11, and he described pretty much it would take
He described exactly what was happening?
Yeah. And then also there was a guy that was, I forgot his name. He was also, he had dual citizenship between the United States and Israel, where he also wrote a book about an attack with using airplanes.
Yeah, they're really concise with their information. They're very good at telling you exactly what's going to happen. Yeah. Like it's almost as if they're going to tell you that, like, I don't know, on some kind of coronavirus would come to America.
Yeah.
And kind of, how we should handle that. Like make sure there's no information out there that went against the narrative.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned coronavirus.
You're welcome.
Talking about the state of Israel and just
I didn't say that.
Their foresight. They have amazing foresight, right?
And there's a group of them who are, it doesn't impact them,
right?
Which Vivek did tell us about.
Well, their foresight to create a vaccine that we all widely use, they were kind of working on a vaccine well before coronavirus came out. So I will say this, the tactics that the Zionists use is very similar to what the Black Lives Matter folks are using right now. And George Soros is a huge funder of the Black Lives Matter, and he's also Jewish. So I'm just saying.
Well, hold on.
Follow the money.
They didn't say he was Jewish. He doesn't say he's Jewish.
He is Jewish. He tells the story how his family escaped the Holocaust.
From where?
Poland, I think he was talking about. But he's Jewish.
Might have been another country.
Either way. But it's the same tactic. You say anything about, black folks, all of a sudden you're a racist.
Right.
And it's not saying that black folks control everybody. We know that's not true, but they're just using the same tactic.
They're being used by.
Oh, completely.
Yeah. And they're being. I'm not going to go into that. Let's get into our.
You went further down the conspiracy than I did. And you, again, leaned on your intel. Hungry. There you go. Thank you, Striker B. He was hungry.
Thank you. See,
one of them around there somewhere.
He's hungry, all right.
He is. He's setting his son up though. Little punk ass looking son. His son like a little bitch. Little bitch ass.
Little bitch ass
motherfucker.
Little hungry ass bitch ass. Let's get into questions for our guest here, because she is a mother that's raising a 5-year-old son.
You don't believe in conspiracies?
I all the way believe in them. I didn't think people were ready for that version of me, so I was just taking it in.
Well, I mean, that's cool. Speak your mind though. What within the last 5 to 10 years regarding, because there's a conspiracy to come out every year.
What impacted you the most?
Yes,
that you think is a conspiracy theory that you would say, look, I'm not down with this. If you want to say anything.
Honestly, probably vaccinating my son for COVID. When his pediatrician's office offered it, I just said no, thank you. I don't get the flu shot any.
Did they go after you?
No, his pediatricians actually were listen, we don't promote it.
Oh, that's what's up.
Same with COVID testing. I mean, my son was so young when it all started. I mean, we didn't leave the house. I didn't I wasn't at parties, oh, maybe whatever. Because if something happens to my kid, that's my fault, right? I'm just wilding out, just doing whatever, bringing home the virus, but
bringing home the virus,
but his pediatricians definitely were
oh, that's what's up.
We would rather not force anything like that. These kids are so young. We don't know what
hospital.
So my son is at Westside Pediatrics.
Okay, well, shout out to Westside Pediatrics.
Yeah, I love them.
There you go. That might be a bunch of doctors and pediatricians that you should probably go talk to, maybe.
I just feel they're just about the kids. You know what I mean? They don't have all the other agendas that I feel a lot of other places do. I mean, even when I freaked out and was oh man, my 2-year-old at the time, he's sick, blah, blah, blah. Should we do a COVID test? I took him to the doctors, and his pediatrician was honestly, I'm not seeing that type of symptoms, and we don't like to put kids through that kind of trauma if they don't need to go through it. And it ended up being a double ear infection. You know what I mean? So I am definitely grateful.
Everyone thought everything was COVID.
I mean, it's scary, especially when you have kids, I don't know. I know I want to do right by my son.
There you go.
I want to keep him safe and healthy, but I also don't want to pump him full of things that we just don't know. What's the long-term effect? That's everything that happens. I just feel there's just so little research on either side. I want information for
to make your own decision.
Yeah. I mean, you have an opinion, please tell me more about it, because it might not be my opinion, but maybe I'm just not educated on that side yet. You know what I'm saying? It opens up a different level to have the, a decent adult, respectful conversation.
As you should as a mother.
To be able to say hey, this is why I feel that way. And maybe if you don't have kids, you're well, I never thought about it that way. I want what's best, not just for my son, but for all these kids.
So you kind of agree that the social distancing part was designed to not have us have those conversations?
I know that I for sure have nieces and nephews who are older in school once COVID was done with the mask mandate and everything. I personally watched, lively, outgoing kids suddenly not know how to laugh in public or how to have face-to-face conversations with somebody because they were used to hiding behind something else. I just, these are kids that they're typically with a good chunk of their day. I feel like it.
And they lost all concept of being able to have a conversation and have fun with another kid because there was always a barrier.
Absolutely. And on top of that, it's like, it kind of forced, me, especially as a mom, I know it forced me to have to, be by my son's side 24/7. I can't go do, normal work things. I was a bartender at the time, a full-time bartender, and it got scary for me to go to work because if it was as serious in the beginning as they said it was, I didn't want to be responsible for adding to that.
And all the freaking bars got closed down.
Absolutely. And then when they opened back up, it was a nightmare.
Yeah, because you had to order a proper meal in order to order a drink.
But
chips.
None of that made any sense.
Yeah.
To me personally, only because it's once the 6 feet thing was lifted, as long as you were sitting, right?
Right.
But if I don't know you, coughing all over the place, ricochet gets me in the eyeball. And now I have the vid. What, I just feel like people lost their normal logic in things.
But that's how it normally was, though, right? If you sick, bro, you coughing, what you doing?
Right.
Yeah, cover your mouth.
Yo, go somewhere with that, bro.
Sneezing.
Yeah.
Why can I feel it on my body?
You don't need the vid, right? The seat. Well, remember back. I remember this CDC. Their guidelines on if you're sick, their recommendations were you isolate yourself for 3 to 5 days. Now they extended it, so you got more days off, 5 to 10 days after the vid, right? So these things never changed.
7 to 10.
Oh, 7 to 10?
7 to 10 days they gave you. And then it went down to we're tired of people just calling in sick because they were around someone that had
The first round,
COVID.
it was 14 days.
Yeah.
When I had to quarantine, it was 14 days.
Yeah.
And the people who would call you every day, first of all, not
all
nice.
from the county?
Just not nice.
Yeah. They hired mad people just to call
customer service positions deserve to be had by people who love to customer serve.
Yeah.
I had angry moms. It felt like my mother scolding me
Do you went out? How dare you?
And I'm I haven't left.
Relax.
And it got really crazy.
Wasn't it amazing how people were just
up right now?
Yeah, it wasn't amazing how people were just getting sick out of nowhere. And they're who are you with? Nobody. I literally stayed inside. Well, you must have went outside. No, I literally did not.
My backyard.
Somehow I'm oh, well, did you walk the dog? Yeah, I walked the dog. Okay, well, there you go.
Isn't that a psychological term? If something happens, someone gets sick and then you hear about them sick and all of a sudden you get sick or something.
Munchausen's?
Yeah, something like that. I think there got to be some neurological term for that. But it just seemed all right, all of a sudden it's I'm sick. I got COVID. There's so many different, viruses out there. How do you really, really know that that's what you got? You got the vid.
But what about businesses that were open up under the radar? You know what I'm saying? Because small businesses that just could not afford to stay open without business, then they're opening up their establishment privately, to a smaller group of people that then grows bigger and bigger and bigger. And not for nothing, but I know several establishments that did that and wouldn't have been able to
hair salons, nail salons, beauty
bars,
who just closed up the windows and said, look, if you know,
serve food.
Yeah.
You don't have, and a lot of places really couldn't afford to even stay open for, to go stuff when that was okayed.
I was really upset because when we were given extra money during COVID, I really hated that. But I spent that on takeout food at local businesses. And I said, I'm going to spend all this money because they got hurt, during this. And
do you think that was the overall goal agenda to shut down small businesses?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So
I know exactly what
virus.
It was. It wasn't just that. It was a transfer of wealth to the most wealthiest. Because if you could sit there and say that Home Depot is allowed to be open, but you can't have, Black's Hardware open. That makes no sense.
Yeah, that was wild.
If you're telling me that, Eastridge Family Restaurant can't be open, but if you have a drive-through, you can be open.
Right.
And they'll accept your credit card and ring it, but then they'll hand it back to you on a platter with your food that you fucking touched.
I mean,
none of it made sense. And it angered me so much. How many people were just so far down the freaking brainwash hole.
I just feel like they weren't doing their own personal research. That's as an adult.
No, doing your own research. Doing your own research was far too right wing, far too
but like
Republican for too many people.
You can't do that.
No, but now we're to a point where we have certain things going on in the schools, right? And you with a 5-year-old boy, mind you, a single mother with a 5-year-old boy. Passing on values is crucial in not just raising children, but even tougher when it's a single mother raising a young boy. Can you share some of the qualities that you yourself are looking to instill in your son as he grows?
Oh, man. I want him to stand up for himself, but I want him to also not be afraid to stand up for other people. I want him to respect people, man. My biggest thing is respect. You know,
Should there be a time when he disrespects somebody?
But I want him to know those differences as well. Yes, absolutely. Because I'm big on teaching my son boundaries.
Oh, that's great.
And respecting other people's boundaries. My son he's just like the biggest lover, but he's that person who will see a beautiful woman and he will say, "You are very pretty. You know, may I hug you?" You know, and the mom usually looks at me like, and I'm like, but I mean, they'll embrace. I'm cool with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like in my house, it's just like none of the other like facade things to me personally matter. I don't care shape, color, what. I don't care what you choose.
Mm-hmm.
If it is not hurting me or my son or someone else, like physically hurting. I mean, words like, I mean, I grew up just being told like, if it doesn't hurt you,
right. Sticks and stones.
Yeah. You know, and like, I mean, that obviously led to probably a little bit of trauma in my adult psyche, but I mean, my son knows that he's accountable, you know, it for whatever you played, whatever role you played in anything, whether it was like, oh, the good kid or like the kid that they thought was good because you just looked nicer or more polite, like that doesn't work for me. And he knows that.
Well, when you said boundaries, that one hit me hard because I've been having this argument for the past yesterday and today with these people who were defending. Did you see the video of those, kids that were, wheeling their bikes through Eastfield Mall?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And one of the issues I had was it was someone who was tagged under my comment because they were like, go get this guy over here. This person, go get him. And so this woman pops up and she's like, they're just having fun, blah, 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 calm down. And
had to be a parent.
But there are rules.
Right. And I was like, that's the thing though. Young men especially need boundaries. And usually those boundaries are set by the male figure in the household. So the fact that you are setting boundaries for a young man and you're being the female in this relationship saying you need to have boundaries. And on top of that, you set accountability and you need to be held accountable to your actions. To me, that blows away a lot of people who are commenting underneath that saying they're not harming anybody. They're not doing anything wrong here, yada, yada. I'm like, no. They are doing something wrong. That is not appropriate. You need to set boundaries. And as a father figure, I would set the boundaries to say, if I were to see that freaking kid and that kid was my kid, I'll be like, give me that bike. And I'll make them cut it up.
Plucked right off that bike mid-pedal.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Accountability.
But also at the end of the day, like I need you to have better character to decide that what your friends were, what they were doing, I know in your mind that you knew.
Because it reflects on you. That's my thing. I would always teach Jaden, I'm like, everything you do reflects on me and your mom, and we don't want to look stupid. So don't do stupid shit so that we don't look stupid.
I teach River that like
her son's name.
What you do reflects on you. That doesn't.
You don't think it reflects on you?
I'm sure it does, but at the end of the day, I know that my son understands that I have, and I do. I'm probably harder on him than his dad is. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, we have 2 separate households. I'm fortunate that we're good at co-parenting, but I mean, sorry, Nick, like I set those boundaries in play. You know what I mean? Like I grew up with 2 parents who They did not work. They should not have been together. They were. When they split, like I was one of 4 kids who was like, stoked about it. Like, heck yeah. Now we can all just like relax and like be chill. You know what I mean? Like, and I just feel like for me, I had said to my son's dad, if you don't want to be involved, because we weren't together. I mean, it wasn't like a crazy planned situation. That would have been great if it was, but like life happens. And for me, I just told him, like, if you don't want to be involved, that's fine. I don't care how it makes me look. I will never even breathe your name. But I have 2 serious rules. If you choose to be involved, you are wholly involved, and we support each other. Behind closed doors, if you want to tell me I was wrong, tell me I was wrong for sure. Like I need someone to do that. But as far as our son goes, we're a united front, and you don't get to pop in and out. It's one or the other.
Not the mommy versus daddy thing.
Absolutely not. And like you don't also get to be a dad super part-time. Like, listen, this month isn't convenient for me, so I'm not showing up. Like, no, you show up or you stay out. My son knows that we respect each other as humans.
So you got it seems like the values are there. So what about the concept of masculinity? How are you involved with kind of seeing that in your child? And also, do you believe in the type of masculinity that might be either considered toxic or conservative? Like where do you see the spectrum of masculinity there?
I mean, I feel that my son understands that there are certain situations, like bathrooms. He knows he only goes in with me when we're out. As far as school, he knows that he doesn't. If he decides to choose whatever path he wants later in life, and he's of age to if he came to me as a 5 or a 6-year-old and was like, Mom, like okay, well, let's ride this out for a little bit, see where you're at, when maybe I don't have to still come in and like help you wash your hands sometimes or ask. I'm cool with what people want to choose. No one is going to push it on my son, and no one is going to go behind my back about it. I'm the parent. Like that is my human being. So
what about when it comes to what they're teaching him in public schools these days? Because it's pretty much you have no say in it.
I still don't believe that. I very much will have my say. I mean, if my kid has to be the kid who sits in the hallway while there's a certain, segment going on in school because he's 5, I want my kid to live 5, like that's like so cumbersome and such like a mental burden to children to like jam pack them with things like that. I think that there should still be outlets if they have questions, like go to your teacher and say like, yeah, I would like to learn more about that. Or like, I do have a couple of questions on this or that. And
should the teacher be able to hide that from you? Or should the teacher tell you? Hey,
I feel like I should know. Listen, I was in, I think 3rd grade, and I wrote a note to I think I just said it to her. Like my art teacher, I loved her. I've related to her. She was weird, like it was cool because she was the art teacher. But I remember I told her, I wish you were my mom, like meaning like chill about like cool art, whatever. She reached out to my mom and, let her know that I said that because she just wanted my mother to be aware of like, hey, maybe
your feelings.
And I remember feeling a little bit awkward about it, but now as an adult, I'm like, oh yeah, she should have said something to my mom.
Do y'all think within just like you're saying, like the schools and the system, like the thing that we're up against, society itself, do you think that when in raising a man or a young man to be masculine within that sense, as a mom, right? Like you said, you're more of a disciplinarian than the pops.
I think so.
But do you think it's still his job as the father to kind of show him what it means to have that masculine energy?
Yes.
You think he does that?
I do. I do. But I don't think it's like
not to get into your person. That might have been a little personal. Sorry.
You're good. I mean, I absolutely do. I mean, there are times when, I don't, as a female with one small human being, and he happens to be of the opposite sex, like, I don't know how your parts all what happens in there. You know?
I mean, we can get into that.
And like for a while, I mean, I would try to address things like, what? No weenies. Stop. Why are you always touching?
Yeah.
But then I realized, you know, his dad was like, I talked to him about it.
Yeah. Austin's like,
we've introduced baby powder. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are things that, like, you know, but also his dad is just like he's like a passive dude. You know what I mean? Like in the sense of he is a masculine guy, but in the more passive sense, it's not like he's like out there being.
I think there's quite a few different,
you know,
spectrums of masculine. Yeah.
So, and I just feel like, you know, as far as River knows on my end, like, you're the boy, you protect people, you know, women, other girls, the underdogs, like the kids who other people,
the protector.
Yeah.
As a masculine man, that is.
And that's kind of, I guess, maybe sort of the extent of how I personally teach it is like, cry if you gotta cry, man. Like, I get so frustrated sometimes. I totally get it, but
no,
when
can't let him cry.
Yeah, that's
hold that in.
I would say that's different though.
Yeah,
right?
that is definitely different.
Because within the males, right, what you crying for? Right, that's the first thing that comes. Like,
I'll give you something to cry about.
Right, or just again, if you see him fall as a man, you see him fall and be like, "Come on, get up, boy. Ain't no wrong with you. Come on." Right, but
Jaden fell down a tree after I told him, like, he's never climbed a tree. It was like a few years ago. No, a few years ago, and it's a tiny little tree. I'm talking, it's like tiny tree. And Edna's like, you know, watch him, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, he's a freaking boy.
I wouldn't even let River climb a tree. Nope.
No? Oh, no, hell no. See?
Climb a tree at your dad's.
No.
See,
but you gotta let him, you gotta let him get hurt.
Mom, that's a protective mom. So it's just like
you gotta let him feel it.
Yeah, these different you know, aspects of parenting and what a guy like we as a man, we're gonna see those things and we're going to relate to
because we know it's long term.
Right. We know
life's gonna hurt you more than the street's gonna hurt you. And this kid freaking ended up like he was hanging from a branch trying to figure out how to jump down. I'm like, dude, just let go, just jump down, blah blah blah. And he like grabbed onto the bark of the tree and like slid down it. And so Bark just like kind of ripped up his thing. And he goes inside, starts running to his mom. His mom yells at me. And I'm like, he needs to know what this pain feels like because as a man, he's going to get way more. You don't
have someone else there to protect you from that happening.
No. But you can't protect him from everything though. That's the thing. And when you're not there to protect him from being hurt, he needs to know how to deal with it.
All right.
But I'm not telling
you how to be a parent. I'm saying from a male perspective, as a man, I have to allow him to get hurt sometimes, not freaking die, not get to hurt to a point where he's going to freaking be paralyzed or something like that. The kid was, it was maybe that high, hanging from a branch. You see how tall Jaden is. I'm like, dude, just fucking jump down, dude. I'm like, runs inside. And then I have to sit there and say, Jaden, you're going to go through many worse things in life than this. This is going to teach you that you're going to get hurt. It's going to be temporary. You're going to hold it in. You're going to understand you can't run to mommy every freaking time. Yeah. And you need to understand that you need to deal with that internally, saying that it hurts, but I don't have to show that.
Who said something? Someone wrote a paragraph that just popped up.
Rub dirt on it. That's right, Striker. Rub dirt on it.
What?
It might have been Edna. We'll see. Yeah, there it is.
Oh, she's throwing shots.
Protection. That's what a mom does, though. A mom protects.
Yes. And that's
a father does not protect. Yes. He allows them to go through at a certain point and say, you're going to go through much worse in life. And you have to learn to deal with it.
It's why a lot of fathers sign their kids up for karate, football, things that's going to create adversity within their life, because
life's gonna be way worse than that freaking tree bark.
Yes, as a man, once adversity hits, right, we have to be the protectors, the leaders, to where we can think critically and figure out how to get out of the situation or solve it.
Worse than that, you can't allow the other side. Like Edna, I won't allow Edna to see that I'm terrified for what we're about to go through. I have to portray that I am the masculine.
And he absolutely can run to mommy.
Run to me every time.
We know that. We men know that. You don't have to tell us
we know
that shit.
Yeah,
we know that shit. And again, it's coming from a guy that has 2 boys, 2 girls. And let's not even talk about how to raise women.
I was just going to ask you.
Girls, totally different ball game. Boys, totally different ball game. For me, my boys, that's
not very woke of you.
Oh, what? I'm not supposed to use their.
You can't use pronouns.
Fuck that. My girls, totally different ball game. Don't even ask me how I'm. So my oldest daughter is just like me.
How old?
And 19. And she is.
I think she's 19.
She's 100% independent. She don't need a man for shit. Her boyfriend right now, she don't need him for shit. Right now, she just got her whole
19.
she's got her whole new apartment. She's got her car. All this came off of her own hustle mentality.
All right.
Right. So she has that masculine sense, that masculine energy. And she was watching, she was paying attention to me. Now, my youngest son, though, different story. He more caters towards his mom, right?
He's mostly with her, right?
He's mostly with her.
Right.
But he knows when it comes to me, right? None of that weak shit. So he tries to, emulate me in those, in different type of situations.
As he should.
But I think I was telling you this the other day. I don't think it's a good idea though, right? Like I appreciate that my daughter is way more independent. She don't need a man, but just for her own longevity of her relationships, like she kind of has to.
She's gonna end up on The View.
Yeah, she's gonna right. So like her in the word submitting, it will never happen.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably right there with her.
She ain't submitting for shit.
I mean, listen, I feel like I'm the mentality that like growing up, the time I did, where I did, when I did, with who I did, like I wanted to be independent because like you're not going to take any of this like from me. You know what I mean? Like I just feel like it, I got knocked out for a couple of years recently, but then I, just realized like, damn, like I can't teach my son to be a respectful, stand up for himself human being if I'm like, can't even get my life together.
Well, let me ask you this. When he gets older, right? And he becomes his own, would you be okay with him having a significant other that doesn't do anything?
Absolutely not.
See, so the traditional values within our country and our society has changed. Like now the woman has to bring something to the table, but does it really work within just the structure of a relationship?
Well, I think the issue is that when you look at the traditional sense, like the biblical sense, when they say that, woman came from man, it seems, and it kind of was misquoted in the Bible. It says women are subordinate to men. Well, that's not the
today.
Hold on, but the original meaning,
not even a little.
But the original meaning was because it said that woman was made to be a helpmate to men, and the original version, that's not the original version, but what the Bible says originally is that they were an equal, yet they were kind of combative, meaning they're going to bring out the best in the man. And that's what a woman was supposed to be for in the terms of a relationship with the man, where the woman is going to be equal. They're going to push the man to be greater, but in the end, the man makes the decision, and hopefully the woman stands behind it. If not, then she does not agree with that man. Simply put, she doesn't agree with that man, and therefore she's not subordinate to him, and she's going to go off and do her own thing. I would say Edna's not subordinate to me in any way. We're very much.
We know that.
Stop right now. Edna's a very strong-willed woman, right?
We know that too.
Yeah, we
just saw it right there.
Edna has her own ways of dealing with things, right? And in certain times, it's got to come down to like. You were over that one night, late at night, right?
Oh, don't even. We should kick this out?
Yeah, we should kick everybody out from the phone.
She said everybody got the fuck.
She's like, get the fuck out of the house.
I gotta go home, and she wasn't even there.
Right. But we had a conversation, and the conversation was: is that the type of relationship you want, where you can tell me things like that in a way that you want me to say, in a way that you think is appropriate to say things, and also me to be the same way with you, or should there be a conversation? And I'll let her say for herself, but she she probably should talk to you after this.
I would love to have a conversation
about that
because I'm like, I thought I was cool.
Yeah. See, but that's the thing. It's like, do you want to have that type of relationship where you can yell at someone like that you would consider your husband and yell at the friends in a way that you would want your husband to yell at you and your friends?
Well, how are you acting?
No, I wasn't acting anything.
It was.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what
we
were
were
you?
just.
I was acting.
It was a great time.
It was just a late night. That's all it was. And she wasn't there.
And I want my pork chops or pork shoulder too, since you paying attention now.
Right.
But that day, and just kind of going off of my own experience, right? It was, we all got kicked out of a mom's house the same way before. So I totally understand a woman protecting her.
And I knew you guys would understand because as a black man, usually you would know that, a black mom is gonna be like, yo, get the fuck up out of the house. It's too late for y'all to be here. And at the same time, I was like, yeah, it was too late because I had to get up mad early to be on a plane or something like that.
Well, again, just not to talk about this here, and I see her, she's
time had nothing to do with it.
Right. It was a respect thing. I get it. Whatever
we're just gonna talk about her while she's not here.
Yeah,
wait, were the kids home?
No. It was just like, it was Jose's idea. We went because he invited us over.
Sure did.
Within that,
I'm a badass motherfucker. That's why.
Right. Well, I mean, but within just traditional sense, right? We all assume what they say, the man's castle, house is his castle, right? Those old traditional sayings that have been around for whatever. It's not that anymore. Those days are done, right? Those days are kind of done.
Well, I think that it could still be the same. But at the same time, was 2 o'clock appropriate to be the man's castle, or was it like, hey, I'm on my way home?
Was it 2 o'clock?
Yeah, it was 2 o'clock.
Was it?
Yeah, really? Because they never showed up. The people that were supposed to be delivering the food.
Oh, remember,
that's
we were waiting for
We're waiting
food.
from 12 o'clock, and I told her, I'm like, we've been waiting for 12 o'clock.
Yeah, in our defense. Oh, she said time had nothing to do with it. All right, whatever.
That's why I said, wait, were the kids home?
No, nobody. It was me by myself at home. She was at the casino.
He was at the casino. We're judging. We're just having a normal.
We're gonna be judging her right
now. Oh yeah, we are. But no,
I'm not included in that.
No, I already know.
For what has changed, throughout time, the woman definitely has more say within the constructs of relationships now.
Well, I think that, and I kind of made this. I thought I made it clear, at the beginning of our relationship, especially when we moved in together, was that she was her domain was the inside of the house. I handled the outside. So when it snowed, I shoveled. Her car would be cleaned off. When the grass was too long, I'm mowing the lawn. When the leaves are on the ground, I'm making sure they get up off and get up. I took care of the outside. If things were wrong on the inside, I'll take care of the inside. But when it comes to cleanliness of the house, that's all I would ask for. That's where I'm very traditional as a man. I'm very conservative in that way, where I would say, look, I'll take care of everything else. All I want is to make sure that, my house is clean. So if I have friends over, it's clean. I don't have to freaking worry about the dishes being freaking piled up in there. It's very little things that I look for out of that. Now, do you think that's wrong? Because I see the faces that you're making.
I just feel like, oh man.
Hold on. But if a man says they're going to take care of everything outside the house, everything and the bills.
I mean, then yeah, I would probably keep the house clean.
There you go. See,
but
would you make a sandwich?
Kick rocks.
Oh, here we go.
You can't. Oh man, see
how far they won't go?
You
will do anything.
It becomes at that point where it's like it's only drawing the line because like you're not punking me. Like we're all
how is that
already
punking,
doing
though?
all that extra, and then you're like, yeah, maybe.
Hold on. But when you have to be at work at 8 o'clock in the morning and it's been snowing all night.
Are we both being to work at 8?
No.
Oh, well, I mean, okay, you're not giving me enough information.
No. I'm saying in a real world, when a woman has to be at work in the morning, and a man, let's say the man they both have to be work at 9 o'clock in the morning, both of them. What you saying?
She killing you right now. Listen, Edna, we are not. This is not going to be some old. What do you?
Hold on. Let's go back to outside of this right here.
I'm gonna ask you. I'm asking you this because I've seen this on a video before. This one guy asked this woman a question, and it's about this making a sandwich. Yeah. So if your significant other is in the house, you two are in the house together, and someone breaks in, right? You expect him to protect you, right?
Don't shake your head. You know the answer.
Well, I mean,
You would you
I don't want
expect,
hurt anybody's
would you
feelings,
expect
but
him
like
to
with my
defer you?
son's father, like I just
No. With a man that you decide to live with.
Yes. Would you expect?
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So why couldn't you make him a sandwich that simple? That one simple thing.
I would make him a sandwich. I'm saying, like, what's the context? Like, if it's like, you know, I've been doing all this stuff at home all day, and then all of a sudden you come home and plop down, and you're like,
that.
I'm hungry.
When does that happen? When does that happen?
It's how we act.
That doesn't happen.
Ask in a
I'm just
respectful way.
No man's gonna come
make you
home.
whatever you want to eat. Chances are I already got snacks out for myself. Okay, like everybody's fed at my house. I don't care, male, female, kid, elderly. Like,
I'm just sitting here getting my wife all hyped up. As soon as I get home,
Oh, you in trouble, boy.
I ain't in trouble. I'm never in trouble.
All right. Well, listen, I just want to make sure if we're
I'm too
ever
good of a man
invited
to be in
again,
trouble. That's
if
why.
you're
I'm not about to
taking
get
care of
kicked
me,
out.
I will absolutely take care of you.
Right.
I just
But
feel
the
like
thing is, in
that's-
this world today, it seems like women are like, do everything for me, and you got to be 6'3", and you got to make over 250,000, and
I feel like
you're
that's
just gonna-
social media.
You're
though.
defying
That's
the odds, then,
projection of
Jose.
social
You are
media.
literally winning.
I am winning. I already know that. I already know I'm
just-
winning.
I don't know. I don't know.
Awesome.
Being 6'3" is nice.
No, it's not. You have to duck in whenever you come in here. That's not nice.
Oh, that's the one moment.
The one moment.
Yeah.
But he
Sometimes
also
I
doesn't
hit my
have to
head on
look up
shit.
to his lady. You know what I mean?
When you go
That's
onto an airplane, it's not that good to be tall.
Well, yeah, if they
being
sit
on
in the
being on
bed.
an airplane, being tall doesn't matter.
Oh, it does.
My problem is I'm also a
Hefty?
wide,
You're hefty?
a wide
You're thick.
gentleman.
You're
yes.
thick. I asked my wife.
THICC.
I asked my wife the other day. I'm like, "Do you think I'm fat or am I thick?" And she goes, "What the hell?"
Whoa,
That was
who
funny.
said that? We have to be mothers,
Oh, here we go.
porn stars.
Here
and
comes
be-
Aaron.
What? Wait,
comes
wait.
Aaron.
We have to be mothers and porn stars and be classy and make money and be submissive and cook clean. And what's wrong with that? I mean, duh.
Right. No one's telling you that
No one's right.
you
Like,
have to be that way. Just
I don't
don't be in
need-
a relationship with me.
I don't
She
need
saw
a-
the Barbie movie for
No,
sure.
hadn't texted her, jump on this podcast right
Yeah,
now.
I'm just saying there's somebody
No
for
one-
everybody. If
I
you're,
don't
if
want-
that's what you look
There
for.
is. There certainly is. And there was a guy, I saw this video of this, I don't know if he was Russian or Eastern European, and he was on a date, and this woman showed up late to the date, and it was a lady like on the table next to them, videotaping him, recording him. And he's like, "Look, all I asked was for you to not be late, and you were late. Like, how am I supposed to take this? When I say don't be late to the date, and I'm sitting here waiting for you, you make me look like an idiot sitting here waiting for you. Like that, blah, blah. To me, I'm like, yeah, dude, because my number one pet peeve is showing up late to a meeting. And I had to tell someone 2 weeks ago, I will not meet with you again because this is a third time that you were late to a meeting, and I'm not going to wait for you no more. Like, you are not going to disrespect me and my time because you came to me asking me for something. I show up to every meeting on time for whatever you need, and yet you show up late. So therefore, anytime you need something, email me.
I think that's fair. Well, it's like putting adult time out.
Right. And as a
Per my
man,
previous email.
Well,
and as a man, you can ask that. And if a woman says no, that's not me, I'm gonna be late every freaking time, like my wife. Then he can then say,
I can't help it.
Damn, Edna's getting tossed under the bus. Oh
then-
my God.
no.
But I'm right there with you, girl. I'm right there with you.
Yeah, women are
Of
always.
course,
It's a
we
women
know
thing.
that. We
It's a
know
women
y'all
thing. You guys
still
just
Because
gotta be
we
late.
are at home with our humans. You know what I'm saying? Like what
Excuses.
today when I knew that I actually had to like
You were here early.
put my
Well, what do y'all
Well,
think
you're
men
here
are
because I
early
left
doing?
10 minutes before I really would have.
Isn't that supposed to be what it is?
Yeah.
If
I
you
mean, yeah,
respect somebody,
but
you
I
would
feel
be
like
there.
That's when like our like morals growing up and like respecting other people.
Yeah, Austin's a different time. So I mean,
But I'm also big on communication. You know what I mean? If I'm running late and I have zero control over it, maybe I left beyond the capability of being on time. But like, I don't know. There's like
fine.
some crazy.
There's always excuses, right? There's always
Yeah.
excuses.
But like I said, there's just I feel like people.
I'm picking on
you don't
Austin,
have
but it's
to
usually Lavelle
mask-
that's late.
And like you don't have to mask who
I am
you
like
are
that.
as like a
Pet
person.
peeve.
Like there
I'm
are
black,
people
though.
out there who will be okay with that.
Another pet peeve. That is a military in me. If you're 15 minutes early,
y'all-
you're on time.
You guys, that's the one thing that I advocate for the military and men, right? Especially after, the young age, outside of going to war, the military, if you want a man to graduate into even more of a man, some of these kids definitely need to go to the military. And
a lot of these kids need to go to the military.
And I do think, boarding schools, military boarding schools can be something that our kids can benefit from. We had them back in the day. They, but I think they probably took them out for a reason, right? They wanted to raise some pussies. Yeah. Well, again, you want to raise pussies, and throughout time, and there's nothing against a single mom. My mom was a single mother. She raised 3 boys on her own, and I think I came out fine. No, I think I'm good. My other brother, my younger brother, second younger brother, he came out fine. But my youngest brother, he's kind of soft. Like
he's the youngest.
Yeah, he was the baby. So he was babied. And I don't know what the fuck happened. I don't know why she changed her ways with him.
Because that's what the youngest is. They always baby the youngest.
Right.
That's what it is.
Listen, I was second oldest, and I feel like once my brother was born, he was the last.
That makes more sense.
My mom was just too tired.
And
you learn that, at least with 3
the middle one gets
girls,
away with everything.
No, he does.
Did you get away with everything?
Yeah, my brother got away with he got away with murder.
Once my mom and my stepdad, once our families blended and I was one of 7.
Oh, damn.
Then yes. But now I'm too accountable for anything and everything, I think sometimes. Because I am so self-aware of my own actions, I just try to,
Do you hold yourself more accountable than other people hold you accountable?
Probably.
Yeah, so it's a personal thing.
Probably.
Which is good. It's not a bad thing.
But I mean, I feel like, I'm just a what's right is right person. If my own family makes some poor choices, which has been known to happen. Yes, absolutely.
Oh man,
but I also don't advocate for, if you're in jail for doing something wrong, then you should be there.
It's on you.
You're not gonna bail him out?
I'm big. No.
Would you bail your son out?
Haven't.
Will you bail your son out if he does something stupid?
I mean, what level of stupid are we at? Do you know what I mean? Like kids stupid, oh, I got caught stealing. I mean, there are just certain circumstances. If my kid goes out and acts like a little savage.
Oh.
No, leave his ass in there.
I mean, knowing what I know, having a younger sibling who has been through the judicial system for the better part of the majority of his life, I've seen when he makes genuine mistakes, and I know when he just acts out of pocket and gets caught, and here you are. Do you know what I mean? But for me, at the end of the day, I think that
history of it.
Yeah, and I feel
patterns.
That he deserves to be there for a certain period of time. But do I agree with all the treatments and all the shady, weird things that are going on in a tiny little town's courtroom? Hell no.
Oh no.
Yeah, they remember you in a tiny courtroom. They remember you.
Yeah.
I mean, I just feel like, especially for the Yates County area, the court system there is just the Wild West.
They got me in Brockport quite a few times for throwing parties.
Oh,
they're like, oh, you're here again. I'm like, yeah, freaking, I'm in college.
They love
throwing
to
a party
work out there in Brockport. There's only 5 cops on the patrol, right?
Yeah, and they're all child diddlers.
Oh, fucking.
I definitely have had some weird encounters with some Brockport PD.
Yeah,
in my day. Not on that level, but definitely some uncomfortability situations where you're like, damn, you're a member of the law.
Oh, they fucked me up a couple times.
Well, if you watch SOA, you'll see. There's a lot of that within that show. A lot of reality. Austin, you better watch it, man.
Yeah, Austin, you're crazy. How you not watch that?
It's on Hulu, bro.
Was it Sons of Anarchy?
Yes, Sons of Anarchy.
Did you guys just make that up? What is it?
No. Sam Crow.
It's actually a home recorded show. They're just
This is your guys' project.
It's just us. Yeah, you didn't know.
You guys are the Sons of Anarchy.
We
gotcha.
That would be a dope name for a freaking podcast.
Yo, I literally think that their logo and everything, that shit looks so real. I would literally rock it.
Pretty sure people did for a really long time.
Oh yeah, I had an SOA shirt.
I think they were getting beat up by actual bikers for a minute there.
Oh,
people just
they probably deserve that.
Out there SOA.
Yeah, they're faking.
Dude, I'm just wearing a Jax Teller shirt.
Listen, I'm on my bicycle. I don't even trust a real bike. So.
I got my Schwinn out there,
My beach cruiser.
No, for the sake of our conversation, just kind of tying it back into the roles of mom and dad and raising young boys. There has been too much responsibility placed on the moms, and within society, the ability for a father to kind of interject and like lay the hammer down has been, you know,
it's always been that way. It's always been.
I don't know.
Because if the mother was a stay-at-home mom raising the kids, there's obviously more, responsibility on the mom.
But the dad's presence. Wait till your father gets home. That shit is not even like, that's not even said anymore. Oh, let me wait till I tell your father. When I tell your, like, that's literally the stop. It stops right there.
Have you ever said that?
Hell yeah.
Oh, okay.
And like, I've never even seen really.
So he does discipline then.
I'm guessing. I've never really like had to personally witness it, because like if River's just like out of control, and like he's just not being rational for whatever reason. I get it, like tired, whatever, hungry, but like at the end of the day, like it's still, this is not the time, place, the energy that should be like being into this situation. If I can't get him to stop and it gets to that point where it's just like, now we're both just like over the top.
You need a man come in.
And I literally say, I don't want to have to call your dad.
I will. See, that
does it change at that?
That kid will literally, it's like a switch. Sometimes he cries, don't call my dad. But I'm like, does your dad yell at you? And he's like, no. And I'm like, so are you more worried about letting him down? It's like, why are you worried about? You're hurting my feelings, man. You don't care? You know what I'm saying? Like, we have repercussions in my house. I know not everybody believes, in certain situations. Like, I'm just not like an aggressive person.
You're not a spanker?
I literally have spanked my son twice, like in his entire 5 years.
Open hand?
I'm
getting far into this.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay. I was a big flicker at that age. Flick that forehead.
I'm more of like a light cupper.
You gotta give him a
make some sound.
Make it sound good, but it
like
don't
it
hurt.
doesn't hurt that bad, right?
Yeah, it's the impact. It's like the embarrassment.
And like really otherwise he just really doesn't try to go outside of those like lines.
Yeah, give him the cocodazo.
What is that?
It's a knuckle right on the crown of the head. Bang!
No.
Hit the kid with that. Oh, he'll be down on his knees. That's the Puerto Rican culture right there. Cocodazo. Bang.
I've never got a whooping from my father.
Aaron would jump in on that.
Ever.
I never had to.
You never got a whooping about your dad?
My dad like gave the look.
I got one.
My dad was
my
the
dad,
look.
my grandfather, but my mama.
See, I just never got hit by.
No, my mom had a slower swing speed. So I knew that if my dad was going to spank me, it was going to be way worse. So I was okay with my mom spanking me because her swing speed was lower.
Man.
But then they started putting holes in the paddle, and that, that quickened the speed.
See,
my parents,
Native American.
My parents were on the podcast. They talk. They talk very openly about whooping my ass.
That's why you're bad now.
That's not why I'm bad. I'm very.
I know.
That's why I'm where
You're
I
bad
am.
from all those friends whose mothers let them off too soft.
Yeah.
You understood consequences, and also probably know how to.
She expected my friends' parents to whoop me if I misbehaved at their house. That was back in the good old days. The friends' parents were allowed to whoop me.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
I definitely, if I was grounded at my house and went to my best friend's house, like we were still grounded. We weren't going anywhere.
That's not grounded then.
I mean, listen.
See, I
didn't really do a whole lot that like warranted like don't move.
Yeah, my punishment was just getting the ass whooping. That was it. Never got on like 2 years in the house for 2 weeks.
No, it was both.
Whooping, that was it.
My dad would just shoot
ass
that
whooping,
look, and you're like,
upstairs.
I don't even want to. I don't even want to think about what it could be. Nope. I'm out. Like,
I got both ass whooping, and you were in your room for a freaking week.
I got an ass whooping first grade for not knowing where the adjacent side of the
triangle?
address was.
Oh. That's a good ass whooping. That's a good reason.
Bro, I had no idea where it was.
How else are you gonna learn?
I learned after I got that ass whooping.
Exactly. Do you know where it is?
Yeah, I do
right,
now.
there you go. So you're welcome.
First grade, I'm like, yo, mom, my first time ever catching a bus. I waved at the bus driver. I didn't know I was supposed to get on the bus. I was on the wrong side of the street. She was like, you were supposed to go on the adjacent side of the street. I'm like, I didn't know. She literally whooped my ass
whooping. That's right.
Man,
I mean, if we missed the bus,
Stop it.
It was.
That might have been abuse. Yes, it might have been. But you learned.
I learned, and I'm a hard motherfucker front. Thank God I got my ass whooped. I appreciate it, Mom Dukes.
I say the same thing.
Paddles. Didn't get the belts, but I got punched. I got slapped. I got punched.
I feel like I had an older sister who just handed down corporal punishment.
Ooh.
You have an older sister? Oh, jeez.
Yes. Yes, I do. I know, right? That's crazy. People are always like, "You're the oldest." Like, no,
that's
I'm
not
the
what I thought.
craziest.
I thought you would have been
sure.
the only. I thought you would have been the only child, like the only girl.
3 girls and a boy.
Oh, damn.
Ooh.
How many older? One?
Just my older sister.
Just your older sister?
But,
Is she
like-
still around?
Yeah.
Does she still whoop up on you?
Hell no. I don't go near her.
That's why.
I'm too afraid.
Good.
No, I'm just kidding.
That's a
Her
good
and
older
I like
sister.
adjusted totally different. Now life's just the way it is. But
Yeah.
I mean, like, I hated her for that. I like look back now and I'm like, damn, she was so mean to me.
Women are mean. Girls are mean.
Yo, the worst. They're honestly
Boys
the
aren't
worst.
mean. That's the thing. Boys aren't mean. I mean, we'll get in a fight, but then the next freaking day
You're
we're
over
back
it.
to being friends.
And I don't know.
Yeah.
That's how I am as like a human being, like as a female. Like I just after I get it out, like I'm already over it.
That's a masculine energy in you.
And literally, I think it's just like probably the best personal quality that I think I have is that like I just don't. I'm going to speak my piece, but then I'm just going to keep it going. Like, we don't have to be mad at each other and not talk forever. Like, I just feel like that's so silly.
Being petty is a female trait.
It for sure is. And I also don't like, if I'm going to come to you with a situation, like, this is not a test. I already know. I don't play that game. Like, I know that you were out with, like, if I don't, that's not the, like, I'm not even,
Do you swing?
I don't have the pay. What?
Do you swing?
No.
You don't fight?
Not anymore.
Oh, not anymore. Okay.
Not anymore.
All right.
That was for like my 20s. But
I'm
on
a lover,
a partner,
not a fighter.
like on a partner, like
Brand not swinging on a partner.
like I just feel like if that's happening, like you just shouldn't be there already.
It's domestic abuse.
If a woman swings on a man, should he be able to hit her back?
I feel like the circumstances all, just
Awesome.
situational.
Do you feel? How do you feel about that?
I agree. Well, like one swing is it just a slap? Like what is swinging in this?
I feel like you should be allowed one.
One hit back?
Women should be allowed.
No.
Oh, one hit?
Depending on the situation, for sure. You can't come in windmilling and expect nothing to happen. Like someone's got to restrain somebody, right? Like, I mean,
I think restraint is the appropriate response.
So men.
Well, yeah. Don't how often like. No, you don't get to just punch female.
I mean,
you should just be able to grab the wrist. Like if that's coming at you, you
just
like
be like Chris Rock said, shake the shit out of her.
Yeah,
shake the shit out of her.
Yeah, I won't beat you. I'll shake the shit out of you.
Yeah, she shouldn't be able to overpower you. So
she shouldn't.
Yeah,
those times.
Have you seen Edna though?
Oh, she could overpower.
Just kidding. No, no. She can't even pick me up.
Oh man,
I told her once, I'm like,
so
pick me up because I'm thick. That's right. So I'm thick.
Dummy thick.
Thick. Anyways, well, I appreciate you very much for coming on the show and for speaking freely about all the different things.
It's early.
That's not early, dude. We've been going for 2 hours and 15 minutes.
No, we were going at least to 8:30ish.
Yeah, usually we're trying to cut it back. Austin has a girlfriend to get back to that he's gonna.
Oh, we know that. Though.
Yeah.
Did you buy the ring yet?
Did you buy the ring over a year?
I was going with the with the going back to part. I knew you had it.
I was just excited for your love. That was my ooh.
Yeah,
it's been going
over
a year, man.
You know she's not gonna watch the podcast.
She does not.
Are you gonna buy a ring yet or what?
No.
How long are you gonna wait?
I don't know until I'm ready. Do
you enjoy spending time with her?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Would you prefer to be with her than with us?
Right now? Yeah, absolutely.
Anytime. So then there you go. It's over with.
Let her know, Austin.
Listen,
it's over with.
You ain't doing enough, bro.
You ain't gonna go nowhere else. Just freaking marry her.
But like, what would be your reservation on not?
Exactly.
So, like, listen,
because you're not a man.
Both of my parents have been divorced twice.
Oh.
So I'm a little like gun shy on rushing into.
What about your grandpa?
My grandpa, he was married for 70 years.
Exactly.
But my other grandpa,
one before him or the other?
No,
side?
on my mom's side.
Okay.
A real messy divorce. So fuck that noise.
Man.
Yeah. I love my my grandma, who is actually my step grandma, but she's the best.
Just get a prenup.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Well, do you think the Bible also plays into a role in people getting married versus folks?
Sure.
Stop it.
Yeah. Religious people are more prone to get married than not religious people.
Preach, Austin.
Yes, they also have better relationships.
Do they?
Longer relationships.
They have quieter relationships.
The Islamic?
Do they though?
Oh, that's
the Muslims?
You think that's a better relationship?
They last longer.
They're
sure.
You're like
Same
literally
time.
not
That's
allowed to not.
But that,
Exactly.
right.
They got like
Exactly.
7 wives.
Exactly.
You clearly have a different metric for what a better relationship is.
I think everything that we just said right now is a better metric.
I wouldn't want that. Yo, listen, I wouldn't want that responsibility, man.
It's not a responsibility. You can't have.
It is. You have to answer to 7 different women.
You can't add another woman unless you can show that you can afford her.
Yeah, regardless of the money, you have to be able to answer to 7 different attitudes.
No, it's 7 different days of the week. So you only got to deal with one of them every day. That's not
like
bad.
6 different attitudes in one day, in one human being.
In one human being,
There's
yeah.
like no way.
This one right here.
Listen,
probably.
I'm very self-aware. I already mentioned that.
You also said you'll beat up a guy. So I mean,
if I have to,
If I gotta whoop a motherfucker ass, I will.
Best believe I will claw my
Ooh.
right out of there. But I mean, I don't usually. I feel like I try not to like put myself into those
kind of situations.
Yeah, I mean, like I didn't, choose my son's father, but
what?
Obviously,
but
I did.
Well, you chose him, but you didn't choose him. Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
Okay.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, like
it was an
it
accident. Is
happened.
that what you're saying?
It was a good time.
We had not spoken when I found out that I was pregnant. So
you also didn't speak when you were having the child.
You hadn't spoken before you got pregnant?
Oh my God, that'd be so insane.
Dang, that's what I'm talking about.
Right.
Just go right at it.
Goodness.
Man.
No, I'm saying
That's a choice.
for like, our own personal reasons, we just realized that like as a couple, it wasn't working. So we went our separate ways.
See, in the other cultures that are morally based on, Christ as a central figure, there would be no option. You guys will get married.
Oh,
right.
Lord.
Yeah. So compelling people to do things they don't want. That's better in your
The power of Christ compels you.
Yeah,
That's right.
Aaron said,
I see.
Because marriage is a choice. You choose every single day to stay married.
In that scenario, it's not a choice.
No, it still is a choice. You just die if you choose otherwise.
well, this is
That's
a
not really a
question.
choice.
Divorce is severely frowned upon, and depending on the country they are in, women can't initiate divorce.
Yeah, in America you can, and women mostly do.
And women are winning
In the divorce settlements.
right, all day long.
Right. So if a man chooses to marry a woman,
they're winning. It's only changing now where people like Halle Berry has to pay $8,000 a month in child support.
As she should.
And she's not feeling that shit
at all. Isn't that weird?
But that's so rare. Like I have a friend that's going through like a really foul divorce with his ex, and he pays like a lot. He pays.
Isn't that fucked up?
It's only fucked up, I think, because she can be a vicious monster. That's where
that's everyone.
But like that's where I don't agree with like the system on that sense, because I also have single male friends who are single fathers to their children. The woman's just not involved, and and like they're respectful, responsible, contributing human beings. But even if they weren't, they made that choice to ride it out. You know what I mean? To take exactly. And I feel like as a single mom, like I just feel like I don't need the praise for doing it, but like we expect it. But like for men, it's kind of like
we can't have expectations, right? We can't even expect getting a fucking sandwich.
Well, did you mow my lawn first?
That's what I'm saying. Like the job doesn't stop. Like the way men, we are programmed to just do what we know we have to do.
What needs to be done.
And women have that that way as well.
No doubt.
But at the same time, we should not have any expectations. But within a woman, though, they expect us to be that masculine leader. That's how we're chosen to begin with, right? Because of
But you have to have that protection quality.
Yes, I can't. I'm not. Listen, I'm not. And I'm like
Nowadays,
as a woman, pretty sure women be like, "Yo, I don't want a pussy. I expect him to not be a pussy." Right.
Well, they expect him to be compassionate and all the things that are
you can't be
being a pussy,
still not
but
be a
you
pussy.
have to be a full-blown man on top of that.
Yes.
And on top of that, be also
but that's confusing. Like I feel
you gotta choose one.
Men especially because like y'all can't.
There's no middle ground there.
The moment
there's no middle ground.
Show we are a pussy or a bitch, we're done.
Right. I cried during the movie one time, and my wife calls me a crybaby.
What movie was it?
Pursuit of Happiness.
Okay, that really was a tearjerker.
Yeah, it was. It was a tearjerker. I know it was every single time.
Yeah, I didn't cry during it.
It was only at the time when he goes like this. He goes like this at the end, and I'm like, oh man,
because he won. You were
excited.
I was blowing in my face.
Last time I cried during a movie was 1994. It was when Mufasa died.
He's lying.
Wait, you were 2?
You were 2. You had
that's the last time I cried
choice.
During a movie.
It's like Chuck Norris doesn't cry.
He doesn't cry.
Oh, yes.
Right.
Tears cry for him.
Yeah.
Well, Chuck Norris, Arnold Schwarzenegger,
back in the 90s when we had
they were setting the table for us. Now we got RuPaul. What are some other feminine freaking men that are out there doing gay shit, right? Like,
one of my favorite actors of all time.
Oh, your boy.
Yes.
John. You haven't given him a shout out in a long time.
His name's not John.
Leguizamo?
Oh yeah.
Wait, what?
I was thinking of Tu Wong Fu.
Oh.
Like his name's not John, it's Tu.
Oh, you think about that shit. Yes. Yeah. Unfortunately.
Yeah, or we have from The Notebook. What's his name?
Ryan Gosling?
Ryan Gosling, who's playing Ken now.
Oh yeah.
We got him that's freaking out there being a little pussy.
Aaron's favorite movie, the Barbie movie.
Aaron's favorite. Yeah, it is Aaron's favorite movie.
Yeah.
Just going to see that shit.
But every movie nowadays is very much against men.
Yeah.
Do you feel the same way?
I just feel like,
or do you not read into it that much?
I personally don't read into it that much.
Because you're a woman.
But I also didn't see the Barbie movie.
Yeah, but every other movie.
I don't.
Except for Southpaw. Southpaw was a really good movie.
With
Jake Gyllenhaal. I think Jake Gyllenhaal is one of the best actors of our time.
He's pretty good. Did you see Nightcrawler?
I watched Nightcrawler twice, and first time I saw it, I started right over again. I was like, that was the most dopest movie I've seen in a long time.
Good movie.
You said most dopest?
Most dopest.
Most dopest.
I like that.
Watch it. Nightcrawler.
Fucking up some words.
He was weird in that movie. I like weird movies.
Yeah.
He plays in some really weird movies.
Yeah. Did you see Enemy?
Of the State?
No, it's just called Enemy. It's Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh, wow.
I never seen it either.
It's good. It's not as good as Nightcrawler.
I never seen Tu Wong Fu, and I'll never go see Tu Wong Fu.
You might want to.
No, I didn't want to see it because I saw
if you want to be a
Patrick Swayze
compassionate man,
Wesley Snipes after Blade, he goes Tu Wong Fu.
Yeah,
I'm like, bro, you killed me.
That's what they did. They always want to put a black man in a skirt.
Oh, black people is leading that tranny charge.
There's only one Puerto Rican that did that.
Well, hey, step your game up.
We did. That's why he's a raging liberal left, and everyone else is like, "What the hell happened here?"
Oh man, we're screwed.
We're not screwed. There's still there's a glimmer of hope for us, and I say masculine men because I think that again there is a sphere of masculinity. Like you don't have to be freaking Andrew Tate to be masculine. All you have to be is say, a woman is safe in my presence, not because I won't do anything for her, it's because I could and I choose not to. That's the biggest example of a man is, you could be a gardener in a war, or you can be a freaking soldier in a garden, right? A gardener is not going to do shit in a war. You're not going to fight nobody. You're freaking bring out your spade or freaking your hoe. And the other one's a freaking a beast. But he chooses when to be a beast. And that's the difference maker. But that's what shows masculinity. You can Austin, big ass dude over here. He could probably freaking pick somebody in here up, not me, and manhandle him. Not me again. I'll kill you.
Handling sounds
sure.
a little bit.
Me for sure.
Yeah, you.
Worthy.
Yeah, you're not doing nothing to me. I'll beat you with this camera right here.
Oh, sure. I mean, I'd probably get you off the ground.
Yeah, you probably could.
That'll be the last time.
Oh, for sure.
Last time. I'm kicking you in the nuts immediately. Like I'm nuts, and then head to nose.
Yeah.
And we're talking about being masculine.
I don't know. I hold you how far?
You can't hold me at a distance.
That was
what kind of arm strength do you think you have?
Oh yeah, you like
can't do that to freaking two of these bottles over here.
All
Stop right now.
Let me ask you this, Jose.
Little human.
Do you think?
Stop it right now.
Do you think
Good Lord,
it's easier for a woman to speak or say what she wants within a man, but it's frowned upon when a man speaks about what he wants?
Always. Always.
Nope. So.
Always. Because then you're gonna call a man a pussy for talking about what he wants.
You don't think women are automatically called too sensitive, or like, oh, you're overreacting, or like you're being emotional?
Yeah, but a man can say, look, you're being overreacting, but at the same time, I get it, so I'll be more mindful of that next time. Like that's that. But when a woman says that to a man, it's like, damn, I'm being a pussy for freaking telling you exactly what I want. All right, I won't tell you what I want anymore.
See, I don't agree with that. I want to know.
Because you're
just a human being who wants to understand other human beings, I guess. Like if I feel some type of way, I'm going to tell you I feel some type of way. I'm not going to be a dick about it or anything, but like, I'm going to articulate my issues. If you choose then after that to do nothing and, the same things keep reoccurring, then like I'm all set. But I mean, there are times where I might upset the person that I'm dating and I might have no idea. Everyone has such deep-seated like.
How is the dating world right now for a woman?
I would not know. I do not.
Oh, you said dating.
Right. For other people.
Oh, other people who are actually dating.
I don't.
So you're making things up is what you're saying.
No, I have dated.
Okay.
I mean, like before, I just feel like after my last relationship, I'm single going on 2 years now. I mean, that's like no dating, no canoodling. Like I just
canoodling. That's a new one.
I think that means something else.
No fancy, no
spooning.
What is that?
Forking, no knifing, no nothing. Like, I mean, I don't usually find the need to even make new platonic friends. Cause like, I want genuine, I want authentic, and that's not what you get from people.
That right there is probably the most truest.
So the rarity today is to connect with someone unexpectedly versus the new way, swiping right, swiping left,
Monsters.
Or DMing.
DMing.
It's all about the DM.
Yeah.
And that to me,
absolutely.
like, it could be a seemingly decent dude. You could be a phenomenal guy, but you pop into my messages like,
ew.
But like,
see, that's the problem is that
it's appropriate.
Yeah, see the problem. That's another. We're gonna get into a whole fucking another conversation over here because the problem right now is men ages 18 to 35 are having less sex than they've ever had in their life.
Damn, that's
like in any generation. We're having the less sex right now.
Speak for yourself.
No. Overall, Austin. Overall, Austin.
Ass every night. That's what I was gonna say.
At the same time, women are complaining, young women about the same age, that they're complaining that men are not approaching them like they used to.
Because women are scary.
Exactly.
We come out so strong, so judgmental, and everyone, like, I feel personally for me as a woman, like, I kind of almost assert my masculinity like a little bit more up front because like I feel that it helps maybe you guys to know that like you can like don't push it. Do you know what I mean? Like I still need the respect, but
I think
there's so many like,
but men right now are so soft compared to the exennials that it's not him. That it's very difficult for a young, let's go with, between the ages of 18 and 25, right? If you're not extremely good looking and on freaking Instagram and flexing and all that stuff, kind of stuff, right? Even them, I don't think are very confident in themselves.
Not at all.
Right. I don't think that they have any idea how to actually interact with another human being.
Not at all.
Let alone a woman in a real life scenario, because they're too busy on TikTok, Instagram, on social media where there's no interacting. They do hey, do you want to do a TikTok with me? Like that's fucking stupid. Hey, you want to do a TikTok video with me where we're going to dance together and freaking do stupid shit? Like that's not. And to me, it's like, I can't even understand how clubs are still open because everybody only knows how to do TikTok dances for the most part in this day and age. It's like, how are clubs even open anymore? So I have no grasp of what it would be like for a young man today to try and approach a woman when all he sees on social media is he's got to be this, he's got to be that, he's got to be this before he even comes to talk to me. Because there's no women out there that are coming out and saying, well, very few women, and the very few women that are coming out and saying, look, I just need a masculine man, a conservative man who's willing to be old fashioned, open up the door, pay for the first date. It doesn't have to be that extravagant. It just needs to be this, that, and the other, something that where we can talk, and then we can take it from there. And on top of that, we can split the tab there.
Well,
that's the first date nowadays. Split the tab, right?
But
See?
that only makes it so like there is no expectation on your end, I feel.
But that does, I would feel as though that would release the anxiety on a guy. Be like, all right, cool. Because if this wasn't that type of date, even better. Mm-hmm. Or if it was that type of date, she already showed that she is that respectable kind of woman, that she's not like that. She's willing to do that. But now I can come out and say, yeah, I don't expect that anymore. You know, is that cool for you not to do that anymore? Because I'd rather just, you know, be an old-fashioned guy. And
no doubt.
Right. And you'd be like, cool.
Well, what's old-fashioned about, you know, sending somebody a text message? What's old-fashioned about being sending somebody in a DM?
Well, it was the same thing as writing a note.
Yeah, well, not necessarily.
It's the same thing as writing a note.
Not necessarily.
You want me to fold it into a
hear me out,
origami shape? Right.
Still, even within that exchange, there's still eye contact. There's still some form of communication. So you're not hiding behind a screen and then
I don't know who you are until we're in the same
same space, right? And within just the cell phone or an email. That's when it started back in the day. That you got mail. You know what I mean? You can hide behind a screen and connect.
Ain't
with
nobody
people.
had it like Meg Ryan.
Like the blind. Right. Well, that was a great movie, by the way. Dave Chappelle was phenomenal. But you hiding behind that screen, that saves you from that same level of rejection, right? Like she can literally say, no, I don't, like she get a letter and be like, no, I don't want it, right? Still, that's some straightforward upfront rejection, right? So men today, they don't really, I think it loses its value of just the overall initial connection with somebody. And being able to have a conversation, see how they smile, see how you have eye contact, you exchange different types of words
body
with
language,
that person. All those things matter.
Tell the young man out there right now how a young man or whatever kind of age man that you're into.
You like him young? Oh
right.
shit, she like him young.
Whatever kind of man. If a man were to try,
to the dads out there,
of
the men in my DMs.
If a man were to try and approach you, how should they approach you? Give some inside info to the men out there who are single.
They sure want to at least release that game. Like,
release it.
I'm just like
we got the book Think Like a Man. Why can't we have a book straight up from a woman?
Steve Harvey.
Because I don't feel like I cover the majority of women. You know what I mean? Like
because almost every woman that's come on here has gotten a date out of it. So go ahead and get your date out of it.
Have they?
Yes.
Like the date for what? Do we have like a party to go to? Like,
yeah.
Because I'm
saying that, but I have no idea. I'm just claiming things.
I just feel like for me personally,
I was trying to attract more women to come on the podcast. You totally blew up my spot there.
I just feel like for me personally, if a man is going to approach me, I want it to just be like organic and not just like, because my problem with how men do approach women is that they don't hear no. So
no means yes.
Because like if I'm just straight up not interested, like I mean.
But at what point should we overcome the no?
You just move on. You know what I mean? Like
why? But what kind of man
versus creepiness? That's
right. Where's the line?
Is literally there is such a there.
All right, so where's that line? Why can't a man say, all right, maybe no right now, but I'm still gonna send you.
You can ask me again,
right.
6 business days from now.
6 business days. Okay, so men out there, 6 business days.
But I will probably still say.
But if he sends you flowers and says, hey, just hope you have a good day.
I don't know about that. That's
now if I've asked you to stop though,
yeah,
that's creepy.
Yeah.
Okay,
so no flowers.
I'm not gonna blow up. I love flowers.
No flowers.
But don't send them like after you've already been told like
rejected.
No, thank you.
So don't do what Will Smith did and hitch and send something to your
business. Life does not work that way. That's just dudes sending flowers after you said no are sizing up your skin. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I would not fit you. I'm all set. If you keep being persistent after I have already like appropriately and then maybe slightly more aggressively told you, I just am all set. If you keep going from there, now I think you're a psychopath.
Right. I tried doing it and she kept coming on to me. I didn't know what to do at that point. I just said, all right, let's go on a date at this point.
She just sending you so many flowers.
So many flowers.
Like, hey.
Yeah. And as a young man, I do like flowers.
So you were the bitch in the relationship.
At the beginning.
I just feel like you should be yourself. You know what I mean? Like if you're a super creep,
Be a creep.
approach
Be a creep.
the chick is a super creep because like there's some other chick who's like, all right.
Oh, she like that shit.
Okay.
They like that shit.
You know, like I said, there's somebody for everybody.
There is. You're absolutely right. There is.
I don't feel that you have to mask or hide like your weirdness or what you're into because there's somebody out there who
Austin wants to jump in on this. He's a LARPer.
What? Just when she said weirdness, she like dead eye looks at me. Like, I know you don't have to mask your weirdness. Like hard look in my direction.
It's more me looking within myself. It just happened.
I get you.
What did you put up there? What is this?
Oh, it's just a little comic.
I can't even see it. But
Dad, how do I talk to girls? Well, that's easy. You just walk up and face her and press A.
Oh,
yeah.
That's
I don't get it.
Oh, like a video game? You walk up and press A to talk to a person.
Oh, see, that missed me.
Man, see,
already we wouldn't be going out
that girl after that dirty ass joke.
It's real dumb, but I thought it was a dumb conversation.
Well, it is today. Like, I think there's too many options for a lot of people, especially women, within this world we live in on the internet.
I don't think so. I think there's a lot of opportunity for men. Like I really truly believe
there's always been that, but
there's more opportunity because women can have any guy they want. For the most part, any woman can have any guy, right? But when it comes to a relationship, a man, all he has to do is step up and be a man. And I guarantee a woman will be like, okay, all right, cool. Yeah, I'll give you an opportunity.
At this point, I would take somebody being accountable for their own actions who pays their own bills.
Oh.
But I mean, like, why lower my standards for what I'm being given right now?
Yeah, those are obvious standards. I'm just talking about
that's the standard to a human being. Like,
yeah, but like that's not.
There are some women up there that want to, take care of men.
No doubt.
Those are the pimps of the world are the ones who got those type of women.
I want to take care of my man if he is good to me, taking care of me.
When you say take care of a man, what do you mean? Because I'm thinking like a 65-year-old woman who's almost at her deathbed who has millions of dollars.
Toxic men who
you're messed up.
Literally use women and don't pay anything, don't do anything. I'm talking about those individuals. They're out there because there are a lot of women who will do whatever they will put themselves in situations where they will just degrade themselves, put themselves at lower value because of whatever fear they have of being alone. There's a lot of women out there like that. And for today's world, I think women who had enough, right, of that type of experience, they do have the ability to go out and swipe right, swipe left if they want. So I do think that there's way more opportunities for women, and the tables have shifted a little bit to where there's a lot more men who are standing there just with zero value, right, and have no way of actually finding that woman that can, remain within that relationship, and they also be
or bring anything to a relationship.
Yeah, but also be secure with the simple fact that she will stay, right? Like it could be at any time, any moment where that man can just be getting older and his testosterone levels are dropping. He ain't hitting the barrel like he used to, and all of a sudden she just might venture off because of those simple things.
And if they do that, then you go to the barrel and you can just pay for a woman at that point.
What are they doing? What is those fingers pointing up for? What just happened?
Aaron is pointing to what Edna said.
Oh,
because I don't know why.
Woman who has respect for herself and her body knows her boundaries. So when she is ready to talk to someone or date, she will let you know. We know that.
Yeah,
we know that.
But y'all don't listen to it.
Who's y'all? Not the good ones.
That's why those guys are single. But as a blanket statement, we were talking about creeps.
They the ones who don't win.
Like, I feel like there are so many more relationships end in like wild amounts of manipulation, and they end up with people being so hurt because maybe the guy was so insecure, or maybe I've for sure been in relationships where I was the insecure one, and I know for a fact when it all, like when I ruined things, but I was accountable for that. I tried to make changes in my life for that. Once when you get into a reoccurring pattern with men, like I drained a lot of, my life, which meant also my son's life with, a partner after his dad and I split. And it's kind of like after shit like that happens, like your mentality is just not the same. Like I don't ever want my son growing up to be one of those disrespectful men. I don't want him treating people like they're disposable. I don't want him just doing whatever the fuck he wants, knowing that like the person that you're with asks you not to, like, or tells you that it bothers them. Like, I don't like the wild amounts of manipulation. You want to go out and be with 47 different girls, homie, go do it. But like, don't let me be sitting at
47,
home.
God.
Wild, right?
Well, once you hit 48, then it's a problem.
those fucking even numbers together. I can't do it. But you know what I mean? Like everyone is about pushing the boundaries. Like it can't just be that I disrespected my woman and
but the woman has to also step up and call him out on it.
No doubt.
Which that's what's missing in today's world. It's like a woman would rather be like, man, never mind.
Like he's out doing whatever.
Next guy.
I'm about to get, oh, he slid in my DMs.
Yep, I got another guy just waiting.
I want women to have more respect for themselves on that level.
I want men to have more respect for themselves and notice that number one, 50% of all marriages end in divorce, which are mostly women that ask for a divorce. Mostly women. By far, the most amount of divorces are caused by women.
Not caused by
you chose. Women chose.
The paperwork is drawn up by us.
Initiated. Number two, initiated by a woman. Thank you. Number two, men, you are kings. All right. If you want a woman to be in your life, then you choose that woman that you want to be in your life. All right. If she wants to throw up red flags, say there's plenty more out there. I don't need those red flags. You can either abide by the relationship. I want to say rules because I would say standards, right? There are standards
but what
that
are your
each one
standards
has.
To my standards? There has to be communication in there,
right?
regardless.
But they have to meet because my standards meet, my wife's standards, and my standards may not meet your standards. They may not meet Aaron's standards. Those
but
are
I'm
different.
Not your wife, so
exactly, which makes that work.
Everybody.
Exactly, which means that every man has a woman out there, and he should not settle. Because what we hear a lot is women settling for men. I ain't trying to hear that.
I just feel no one should be settling.
Right. Because I hear it a lot out there when I'm out with my wife. They're like, oh, you're a lucky man. I'm like, why the fuck am I lucky? Why? How come she's not lucky? I tell them straight to her face. Why am I lucky? Why isn't she lucky? Well, I'm like, no, what the fuck? I don't know. Tell me exactly why she's lucky. I'm not lucky. And I sit there and wait. And they're like, oh, I just walk. All right, cool. Because I refuse to allow someone to belittle me. I'm already 5'2". I don't need you belittling me to say that I'm lucky to have somebody when I'm a fucking good ass dude. Like,
when you're a catch that has a catch,
right?
Like, yeah, that is gonna be.
So men out there need to understand you are a king, and you deserve a queen. No Simple as that. And it's your queen. It doesn't have to be someone else's queen. His queen is not his queen. Is not my queen.
Damn sure ain't. I don't share.
Lavelle, you coming at my queen? What? Is that what I'm hearing? Yo,
you
what
good,
the fuck,
bro?
man?
I don't want to share. Straight selfish on that point.
But is
100%.
that selfish or is that just moral? Like, I just, like.
Well, today there's a lot of, polygamy going around.
I was going to say it could also be
very. But if you have that shared, like, acceptance of that, like, okay.
Again. That comes down to that as well. Whatever you want and that person matches
it. People
cool.
aren't upfront with that usually. They're not upfront with like the things that other people find taboo or off-putting or, like against the norm. Like, so they immediately adjust. Like I tell you all the time, like I'm a very spiritual person. Like what I don't like is that someone will go on one of my social media pages, read a couple of things that I might have posted, and suddenly they're in my inbox like, oh, like all these spiritual weird. But to me, I'm reading it and I know that it's not genuine.
Mm-hmm. It's not hard.
So exactly. Like, and I just feel like people got to be more real. If social media is going to be what we're basing our lives on, then you got to start being you or
just don't do that.
Or we just don't do that.
Because it's never going to be the real you because you're only going to post the best pictures.
I tell people all the time, I'm the highlight reel. Why would I want to post my hardships like out there to people?
Well, I'll say I do think like what you said, Jose, about the the roles within just male and female. As a man, as a king, you have to be able to continue to lead and make sure that she continues to want you. You can't just let yourself go, just the same as she can't let herself go, right? Like, yes, you have that relationship, but there's still you have to have that continuous connection of whatever makes your relationship go.
You mean you have to work for it?
Yeah,
you put energy in.
Yeah, you still yes.
Well, that's what people forget about. I think every man tends to forget sometimes, but that's what a relationship and especially a marriage is that you have to constantly be working to gain that love and that relationship says on both sides.
Yeah.
A woman has to do the same thing. A man has to do the same thing. I feel as though like I get caught up in all the political stuff and I'm getting lost in, I got this meeting, that meeting, this meeting, that meeting. I'm like, shit, I need to freaking make time to actually have a date at some point. Trust me, that's one of my downfalls is that I'm so caught up in all the different things that I do. And then I layer things on top of that is that I forget like, oh shit. And then it's like,
take time out for the things
you gotta, and then you gotta
put in that work. You can't just be pot belly, estrogen filled man with man boobs that can't hit the spot right.
What? Why are you looking at me?
Because he was looking at me. I'm like, I know he ain't talking to me. So I'm like,
no,
I'm just straight down on that one. I didn't want to be
from the time that you you get in that relationship and when you sign that that dotted line of for better or for worse,
or that prenup,
right? Or the prenup, just the overall intimate part of your relationship that still has to. Of course, there's going to be some adjustments as you go. But again, if my significant other, after 5-10 years, you just stop taking care of yourself, you give up, then I think that as a man, I should not have to, I don't know, continue to tolerate it without saying, hey, can you do this, whatever. But
no, she should have to pay to get out of the marriage.
Well, either way, however way you get out of it, right?
Make them pay. That's what I say. If you had to make a payment to get out of a marriage, I think there would be less divorces.
Why is that a good thing?
Because,
but if you're not intimately attracted to that person anymore, then what?
Pay to get out of it. That's what we have to do. If we divorce from a woman, we have to make payments to that woman. For the most part, especially in New York State, we have to make payments forever.
Somebody's getting paid.
Right. So why can't it be just that? It's already there.
Yeah.
Why can't it be just that? You have to make a payment to get divorced.
I mean, it just
it's cheaper to keep her. That's an old school song right there.
Because the only one that makes out, the only one that makes out in divorce is the lawyer.
Oh, all day.
Right.
And a judge, they get paid for their time.
And a judge.
Everyone gets paid for their time.
Right. Except for the man that put in years of work, years of service, years of taking away his prime time from being able to be with somebody that was probably better for him.
Or a woman who
this is a masculine show here.
Kids, I don't know. Giving up her dreams just so she could, be a part of yours.
Or she uses money to get that BBL and fake boobs and lips to stay relevant.
Exactly. Then goes and use it for somebody else.
See, but that I don't agree with that either. So I just.
But there's so many different. There's so many different
crazy bias going on.
There's so many different.
Of course, it's bias. I'm a guy.
Within relationships, people are afraid to say what they actually want. Sexually. Intimately. Like the communication part is very hard because people who have different vices within their sexuality. How do you present that when you didn't do it the first time when you met?
Oops.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
Lavelle, when
strap this on for me?
Lavelle, when do you start doing your feet shit? I know
that's from the gate.
No, Aaron,
okay, so you open with yo girl.
Oh, you're gonna
see them toes.
First of all, you wouldn't even you wouldn't make it through the door if you had fucked up feet. I'm just saying that's just period.
That's fair.
You're not making it through the door. Just like some women in teeth. Some women have a thing with teeth. Some women have a thing with shoes. Some women have they have their vices. So me as a man,
those aren't vices. Those are requirements.
Preferences.
Yeah, preferences.
Right. So I'm the same way.
Edna picked up her sandals with her toes, and I got freaked out.
Ooh.
That's weird to me.
But how do they look though?
I can't judge toes. That's not my thing.
That's you. That's not your thing. For me,
I'm gonna assume they're probably good looking. I don't know. Aaron would know.
I cut off a
toes?
very very wonderful singer.
The love of his life.
I loved her ever since, back in the day
High
when
school.
she started making music. Maya, the singer. And when I seen a picture of her toes, stunned. She's like, oh, can't fucking like you no more. Totally done. Cankles, the whole thing. Can't do it. Can't do it. So me, feet, if I can't put your feet in my hand, right? We're sitting down and I'm not afraid to touch them.
Mine's smoking.
That I agree with you on that one, right? That could be one, smoking. Right? All right. So
I don't like it.
So my real question.
Yes, thank you, Aaron, for pointing out my feet.
More inclined toward, like when do you introduce your kink? Because
that's not a kink, though.
Oh yeah, well, yours thing is a kink.
It's the feet not thing a kink.
You're all about that.
That's not a kink. It's a kink if I'm sitting up there like idolizing them,
putting
like
jam on it, sucking on them,
and doing all that crazy shit.
But do you suck on toes? So and then it's kink.
Hell yeah, I suck toes.
See, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, yo, Lavelle, when do you put them toes in your mouth?
It's
when do you suck them piggies?
Cannot. My 5-year-old calls them that.
Oh my god. Yeah, Austin. That makes sense.
That's the daddy pig.
Yeah. When does that piggy go to market?
I've never sucked toes. Never.
Okay.
Allegedly. However, if I can, like I said, if I don't want to massage them, if I don't want to touch them, then I'm not going to want to be. And it's not a fetish either. I don't want to be.
What if they want you to crack their toes?
No, they can crack them shit themselves.
Edna wants me to crack her toes. It's so weird.
I mean,
I don't like it. And then she'll ask if she can crack my toes. I'm like, no.
No, don't touch my feet. I'm good. I
don't need toes. I feel like I'm gonna go.
My feet.
Yeah, my toe's gonna break or something.
But
so you like the women's feet, but you don't want like your feet are not.
Oh, his feet are gross.
Have to touch my feet. I'm fine. Gotcha. A man doesn't need to have cute feet. But if I
have very beautiful feet. Mind
you're
you.
5'2".
Yeah,
I don't know what that means.
They're like adorable little taco
size
feet.
6. Like you're still in the kids section.
Size 7, motherfucker.
Strike your nose.
Like I said, adorable.
You got yourself a fetish.
A fetish, whatever. It's not that. Fetish. Again, I just have a preference. Some women they won't date you with busted sneakers. Right? Like,
what's your thing? Hold on, let's ask. What's your thing? What's the one thing that you'd be like, nah, I ain't dating that guy?
Like weird eyeballs.
That's not that. Yeah, but that's not
like,
weird.
Like
that's not weird.
Different directions.
That's not weird.
But I also am a feet freak because I dated this guy in college and like on paper he was pretty solid.
And his feet was just fucked.
Yo, they were just like a different playing field.
He was on the west side.
Yo,
he's on the west side
with full blown talons on them.
Ooh.
I remember looking down at his like feet in sandals. Like he's from Jersey. No.
Oh man.
That would have been it for me. that for sure would
have been the sandal choice.
Like yeah. But like I remember looking down and like his toenails were long and like
awesome. Whip them out. Let's see.
Kind of blue.
My feet?
Yeah, let's see them.
I don't know.
No one else can see him. I want to see.
I'm not.
I want to see what I want to see what he has to say.
I work a blue collar job. You don't want me to take my shoes off.
You're like those are steel toe boot shoes.
These are steel toes. Yeah. Like.
I mean, it's not a full blown deal breaker for me, but I remember saying like, we're going to the beach, maybe hack those puppies.
But
I mean, some kicks on, bro.
They're well, maintained, but they
have you ever gotten a pedicure?
Not great right now.
Do you get pedicures?
No.
Have you ever gotten one?
No.
Have you?
I've gotten one.
Yeah, one.
Yes. No, twice. I've gone twice.
Oh.
Yes. Okay. And I will go again.
Right? It's luxurious.
No, it is. I think men deserve that type of pampering.
I think men do. You're right. We deserve a lot of pampering. We do a lot.
Yeah.
A whole lot. We
make me a
hard.
Sandwich and rub
that's right,
feet.
Ashley.
Yeah.
The last time
I'll rub your feet and then make you a sandwich.
There you go.
Ooh, I'm not washing my hands.
Wait. Oh, that's what you meant.
Get that funk going.
Use a different kind of jam on that sandwich.
Yeah. What's this Parmesan? What's on this?
That's gross. That's definitely gross.
I'm literally not gonna ever forget that statement.
You're gonna hear it in your mind, like you're just gonna go to bed.
I love spaghetti. That literally, I think, ruined Parmesan cheese for me.
Completely. So gross.
Well, if we weren't gonna get, censored. Earlier,
yeah, there's going to be a little disclaimer. Parmesan cheese.
I was just going to say, was it the Parmesan cheese?
It might have been. Well, it might have been all the fetishes that were covered by. It was only one, right?
Yeah.
It was only one.
Well, we never really answered the question of like, when do you introduce your fetish? You know,
well, he said immediately.
Right away.
Yeah,
right
but hold on. But there's guys out there that don't get fetishes until they find out what it is.
Oh,
so what if it happens in the middle of it?
Well, then we're learning together, right?
Yeah, but there's guys out there that turn into women and they turn gay in the middle of the freaking marriage.
That's
started
before the relationship.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, that's not how
There were
before that was a lot of women before, and now it's freaking dudes that are doing it.
For me, I would say like feet definitely. There's no fetish like you I don't know.
No, you don't gotta get into anything.
With wax or something like that.
You ain't gotta get into anything.
I'm good with that. But feet, telling you, like, first of all, you would know if I'm interested in you if I've seen your feet, right? Once I've seen it and you pass the test, then you be like, we're
clear.
Right. There's gonna be some level of communication, like, yo, what's up? What's your, what's going on with you? How you doing?
What if she always has socks on though? Do you just like slip one off while she's sleeping?
No, you invite her to the beach.
You got listen. I gotta see them. Beach. I have to see them. It's just a must. If I'm interested. If I'm interested.
Okay.
No, if I'm interested, yeah.
What's that, third date?
When are you interested? I'm like, yo, I'll tell you flat out. Like, yo, listen, I got to think. Yo, what's your feet look like? You got some cute feet? I'm dead serious.
Would that squeeze you out? Yes or no?
I would be like,
yeah,
feet are gross.
Yo, girl,
if
take
the
them winter boots
conversation
off.
moves into it. Listen,
if it's a free-flowing convo where it's like, yeah, I love my feet too.
Yeah, I love talking fetishes over dinner.
Love them for me.
Mm-hmm. Hey, listen. Hey, I'm straight up
fetishes. Right.
Get the mugs off. Let me see.
If there's been multiple
you already know
conversations,
UGG-wearing feet are probably busted under.
Oh yeah. They got UGG feet.
I'm a pedicure throughout the year person. That's like my gift to myself.
Take care of your feet.
Like it, and I almost never wear sandals. Like I can't be trusted in open-toed shoes. I will literally do damage, like to myself, other people's property. It's all incidental.
You mean your fault? You're clumsy?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So like
your talons will get caught up in the market or in the carpet.
I told you I get pedicures regularly.
Well, some women get pedicures and manicures, and their nails are freaking this long.
Yeah, those people.
But then someone played them.
Now that I'll tell you this, that's what creeps me out. Women with like pedicures and they got the long toenails on their feet. That shit's disgusting.
Doesn't that hurt?
The long fingernails don't freak you out?
Yo, the long, I can deal with that.
You can deal with fingernails this long.
Not that long, no.
Okay. What about lashes this long?
No.
Okay, so you still have standards.
I feel personally
toenails. If you have a pedicure and you deliberately keep your toenails long, I think you're a fucking witch and you should be burned at the stake.
Aaron,
something wrong with you. Definitely something wrong with you.
I'm just saying, Aaron.
She don't have long toenails.
You're so rude.
But
I am. I'm a rude boy.
I'm not saying
Rihanna loves
I'm
me.
not jumping into the foot conversation. The first conversation, Austin.
Why wouldn't you?
Said the first date.
No, not the. If there's in order to get to the date, there should be conversations before.
So you gotta see the feet before the date.
A picture? Do you ask for a picture?
No. Okay. But you got to see you have to see the feet before you even go on.
You better catch them accidentally in like a Facebook story.
So you just like you don't.
No, you invite to a nice dinner where she has to wear heels.
I
think that's very simple.
You don't initiate dates during like the winter.
Heels aren't.
If a woman's not wearing heels and.
But I'm saying, not all heels are open toe.
I'm very clever, Austin.
Okay.
Very clever in how
You're just not.
Find that out. And
what planet are you on?
I wouldn't know.
And
married man, I don't even know. I don't look at, and I also don't have a fetish of feet.
And also, just to kind of go even further, as a man, you would know when you can kind of slide that question in. You'll know.
Oh, sure.
You got to
pick up. You got to pick up the vibe. There's some men out there that don't know how to throw things out there. You got to pick up the
vibe and know.
People don't know how to read the room.
You got to read. Yes, you got to kind of read what's going on
after dinner, before dessert. Like you're like, okay,
like a palate cleanser.
No,
you know where this cupcake would look good.
Yeah.
On your toes.
You know what I like to do after a big meal? Take off my shoes. That's
socks too, though, girl. You can't relax if you got them on.
Yeah. You know.
But you can tell through the socks though, because if you see that
for real though,
that big toe pointing to the left or right, done. You already know what they look like. They look like they're just,
Would you be okay with them using their toes to pick things up? Tell me that's not weird.
Almost exclusively.
It's possible. I mean, I think a lot of people can do that. Like they can accomplish that.
Doesn't mean they
I'm not going to eliminate them for that.
Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
That wouldn't creep me out. As long as they look good in some heels, man, in some sandals.
This conversation is.
I'm taking them
I don't
over
even
the
know
top.
how this happened.
Either.
But I'm
y'all talk about my fetish.
I'm about it.
Don't worry, the far lefties out there watching will be like, "Oh, we're taking notes on this.
Oh yeah,
we're gonna use this later on."
Yeah.
Jose talking about foot fetishes on his podcast.
Disrespectful to women and their feet.
Yeah, he's objectifying women. Yes.
Chinese.
Yes, I do.
Hey, appreciate extending the show though.
I knew you would like that. Jeez, what time is it? 9 o'clock. Yeah, our traditional 3-hour podcast. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you again for coming on.
Thank you guys for
and
having
for speaking out about the nonsense here, for what you're dealing with as a young mom raising a young
that was the
boy.
Sweetest thing anyone said to me, and I'm going to say it again. Say it one more
I'll let Austin say it again. Appreciate
young
you,
mom?
Young mom raising
mom.
a young boy in 2023.
Young man.
Young mom.
Oh, he's 5.
He's a young man.
That's not a young man.
He's a young man.
You can't be a young man until you're 12.
No, you're always a young man. As soon as you come out the womb, you're a young man.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
Just saying.
Wait, you said there's just like young man to old man. There's no in between man.
Young man to a man, then an old man.
Gotcha.
That's
Young man, old
It's
man.
a circle of life.
Yeah,
Okay.
there you go. Circle of life. There you go.
Okay. Well, I disagree.
See, I'm like babies, boys, young men, gentlemen.
Yeah,
men.
but there's a lot of men who are not gentlemen.
Oh,
Well,
sure.
But I don't. My son knows the way it goes.
Boys to men, ABC, BB. The East Coast family.
Thank you all very much for sticking with us during our ridiculousness for the past hour. We could have ended an hour ago before we got into the foot fetish conversation.
Who brought that?
You ask me and I'll answer.
Right, I know.
I didn't
Yeah, we
bring
know
that
who
up.
brought
He
that up.
brought it
I
up.
bring
I
that
guess
up.
that's what I heard. All right, time
I
for
did
funky
not
music.
bring up
All right,
the foot
Austin, hit that
fetish.
funky music.